I will go ahead and call to order our August 27th, 2026 City Council meeting for the City of Longview. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. We do truly enjoy having a full chamber, and I appreciate you taking time to be here. The first thing we will do is our prayer and pledge, and that will be led tonight by Miss Thelma Reese, who is the mother of Damian Reese, I learned this evening, a volunteer with Community Outreach Mission. We will rise, and then I'd love to have someone with Community Outreach say a couple words about what you guys do, your important work in our community. So everybody, please rise.
Good evening. Community Outreach Mission is a nonprofit organization which help with food, clothing, and any other necessities that we have here for individuals in Longview who may be facing hardship. We're open on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and we do serve what we have.
And if someone wanted to donate to you, how would they do that?
Oh, they can call us, or we're on Facebook, and also our website. Our number is 903-757-3601.
Thank you.
Yes.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with open hearts and an open mind. Bless us tonight in this meeting. Give us what to say. Give our minds and our heart to be open to your voice, that we might be able to do what needs to be done for the community, for the mission, for everything that we're standing for tonight. We believe and trust that all will be done and all is well. We praise you, we honor you, and Lord, we just want to thank you. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Next on our agenda is citizen comment. I do have one speaker card for general citizen comment and then a couple for discussion items that I'll call up at that discussion item. But go ahead, Mr. Holloway, you're up first. David Holloway is our first speaker. If you would just please state your name. We no longer ask for you to state your address, and then you've got 3 minutes.
David Holloway, over by Real Road. How's that?
Perfect.
I'm here today to lodge my concerns about the railroad safety. They have now opened it up to 3 lanes of traffic, and they've originally removed the speed limit signs because they removed a bunch of the barrels that they were on. And I even told them then that 40 was too high in a construction zone because the regular speed limit is 40. I left a message with Carter Horton when they opened the 3 lanes up, they didn't put any speed limit signs back up. And so I left the message with him, please consider making the new speed limit 30. He did call me back and tell me that whoever the engineer over the project was said that 40 was safe. Didn't need to be 30. So if 40's safe now in the construction zone, are we gonna make it 50 or 60 once they get it finished? Through that little stretch of road, I invite everybody here to drive from Pine Tree to Gilmer Road in the construction. And yes, I have met people going the wrong way since they opened up 3 lanes, 3 times the other way. There's curves, there's hills, all the equipment that's blocking the view. All of the construction going on now is on the south side of the road. The north side is finished. When they put in the 3 lanes, the same engineer that thinks 40 is safe put the single lane going west-east against the construction workers and the barrels and the big equipment that blocks your view. I would like somebody with the city of Longview that has the authority to visit with whoever the lead engineer is to revisit and put a 30-mile-an-hour speed zone until the construction is finished. And I leave you with one thought today. You're born with 6 senses. The other 2, horse and common, you have to acquire. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Holloway. Appreciate you being here. I do not have any other speaker cards for general comment. Is there anyone that would like to speak and fill out a card afterwards? Seeing none, I will move on. I do have one presentation item that I'm going to do first that is not on the agenda but was part of my community comments, just to get it out of the way. Mr. Billy Hodge is our local association president for the fire department. Billy was recently awarded an IAFF Local Leadership Award, and that is a statewide organization that includes over 500 associations, and that leadership award begins with the ability to work well with the city. So, Billy, if you would mind to come up, and I believe your family's here, would love to bring them up too. We're going to take a picture, and thank you for your service and dedication. That's okay. Earlier, Marianne asked one of them, they were proud of their daddy, and they said they were proud of their family. Excellent answer. Come on up here so we can take a photo.
Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3. Good job.
Thank you, guys. Great job. Thanks for your presentation. Yes. Thank you, guys. Next on our agenda is presentation item A, an update on the City of Longview Firefighters Pension Fund. I believe that will join us via Zoom. Hello, Will. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you very much. How's everyone?
Doing good. Cannot complain. Can everybody
Good,
hear
good.
him good? Okay. Will,
It's great to be great. Pardon?
I'm going to turn it over to you. You're in charge now.
All right. Well, it's great to be with everyone. I have a brief update on the status of the Longview Firemen's Pension Fund. As of yesterday, the current balance is $116,792,546.47. This year in 2026, through the end of through that balance, year to date, the fund is up 9.4%. That is net of all investment-related fees and all flows, money in and out. For the quarter to date, that would be from the end of June until yesterday, the fund continues to grow up about 1.2% net. As of the end of July, the year-over-year or trailing 1 year, as I like to call it, return or performance for the pension fund was 15.55% over the trailing 1 year period. That again is net of all fees. And that trailing 3 year period is 12.22% each year on average for the last 3 years. Regarding the pension obligation assets that were deposited into the pension fund in the middle of 2022, if you go back from the inception of those funds and when they were invested and run that performance back to the middle of 22, those assets have grown at a rate of 11.14% each year since 2022. That's an annualized average, and obviously that's net of all fees. So if you were on a cumulative basis from the middle of 22, that roughly $46 billion has grown 52.59%. and currently is worth a little over $70 million. We recently received an actuarial study results from the end of 2025, and as of that date, the pension fund is 72% funded on an from an actuarial standpoint, and the amortization schedule has been brought down another 3 years from the prior year to 26 years. And as a reminder, the pension fund has a target rate of return of 7.5% each year with a 3% inflation assumption, meaning that our target is a 4.5%, what we refer to as a real target, net of inflation. As you well know, Madam Mayor, I can go on for hours. I thought I'd keep it brief. Are there any questions or anything you'd like me to discuss further?
Sydney's got a question.
Yes, sir, thank you. This is an, get this thing where I can talk. This is an excellent return. I know we've had a tremendous stock market. Could you give us an idea of our investments? Are we bond market compared to stock market? I mean, what?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's a great question. Scott, if you could just bring the balance sheet up one more time. Please, sir. All righty. We pull up my version. My eyes aren't quite as good as they used to be. So to directly answer your question, pardon me, let me get this zoomed in right. To answer your question fully, 65.7% of the pension fund is invested in publicly traded individual stock or individual investment managers. The list begins there at the top from Vanguard and Loomis Sales, another Vanguard. There's an ETF in there, ClearBridge. So it's a very diversified portfolio amongst large, mid, and small cap. Then you have some internationals in there as well, some real estate. They're your internationals. And so that total equity is $76.7 million, which is 65.7% of the fund. And as a reminder, every 6 months, each one of these investments has a target weight here along the right side. And in the middle of June, in the middle of December, dispassionately, every 6 months, we get all of those by either selling something that's outgrown on a relative basis or buying something that has that hasn't grown as quickly as something else. Everything gets rebalanced. So each and every investment has a target weight, and that target weight is achieved by rebalancing every 6 months, which is recycling gains and forcing us to buy low and sell high, and is a great driver of performance. You also see 5.3%, and those are two different very, very good hedge funds that help curb some of this equity risk. Then we have 1.46% in alternative funds. These are legacy funds that have been here longer than I have and are in the process of winding down. And then to your question about the bonds, we have two total return bond managers at Guggenheim and PGIM, both very, very good bond managers. And then we have some alternatives, some global opportunities funds, which is a global bond, and then some high yield bonds as well. So it's very diversified portfolio, but to directly answer your question, it's 65% stocks, 26.8% bonds, and about 7% in alternatives, including 5.3% in hedge funds.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes,
Thank you,
Yes,
Will.
sir.
yes, that's good.
Other questions for Will? John?
Hey, Will, this is John.
Yes, sir.
I was wondering you just go to the return page on here, if you would, with the comparison between the median, the Longview fund, and the benchmark.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, I don't know if we can pull that up or not, but I just wanted to let people know, like, when did y'all start taking over the portfolio?
That would be the beginning of 2018.
Okay,
So that would be 8 years ago.
yeah,
Yes, sir. Somewhere between that 7-year and 10-year cut.
yes. So I just want to point that out. The performance is doing really well between that 7 and 10. The 15, of course, was prior. So I just want to look at that and show the comparison between where y'all are actually been the managers of it. Thank you.
I do appreciate that, and that 5.8% number is the effect of 2022 when the portfolio was off a little over 14%.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else for Will? Anybody want to ask or talk about? All's well? Okay. Thank you so much, Will. We appreciate you being with us. We'll see you
Yes,
next
ma'am.
year.
Let us know if you need anything.
Thank you. Just for those that are not well up on the fire pension, obviously the Firefighters Pension Fund pays for the retirement when we have Longview Fire Department folks that retire. It is how they fund their pension. And so our firefighters put in a certain amount, the city puts in a certain amount. And I do want to say a specific thank you to the voters who several years ago approved a bond that put in a chunk of money, and that's what Will is specifically tracking when he talks about those bond funds, because that helped us kind of get over the hump where the fund now generates more in income due to good financial management and investment than we are giving out in benefits. And that's been about a decade or more of work on the firefighter side, reducing benefits that they are receiving to reduce our outputs. And then voter-approved bond input has really helped us make that a very successful program. So not that long ago, we were talking at 40 million in the fund, so to hear 116 million is pretty incredible. It means that our firefighters and first responders will be well taken care of in their retirement. So proud of that, proud of our voters for doing that. Just a fun reminder. Next is our presentation item B. That is discussion of the City of Longview's Curbside Recycling Program. That is under my name. I don't really have anything to say about it except that council considered this a couple of meetings back. Just the current status of our recycling program, where we've been, where we're currently at, and in discussing this further with individuals, folks that gave opinions on it, I thought it was appropriate for us to discuss. I do have one comment card. I'm sorry, Mr. Boyd. Would you like to come up and make comment now? I'm so sorry. I forgot that I had a comment card. I have one citizen comment card on this discussion item, so we'll let him make comment before we discuss.
Thank you. I'm Ray Boyd, live 1426 Page Valley Circle. I taught at Longview High School 35 years, with Eternal University for 13 years. And I want to thank y'all for what you've done on the recycling program, and also for the tree program that's coming up. I just want to thank y'all for doing that. We've always recycled in our home, paper and so forth, and we think it's very important that we save on our trash and the trash dumps and everything else, but we can recycle all this, and I'm supporting that. Also, my work with Longview Community Ministries. We cut up every cardboard box, flatten them out, make them small, fill up 8 barrels, clean. If it's had meat in them, you can't recycle them. And coming up right now is the tree program in another couple of weeks, so I'm gonna grab a couple of those trees. Thank y'all for doing that. The arboretum is nice, the people there are good, and the new arborist is very knowledgeable and very good. And just my thanks for what y'all have done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd. So our discussion on the curbside recycling program, we had discussed it, kind of gotten an update. Mr. Archer is here tonight for questions as well. But I realized when I said that I would bring it back that one of the things that was brought to my attention is, of course, with our proposed budget, we have a small increase to sanitation rates. And as I understand it, if we did not continue the recycling program, we would not have that increase. So I did feel, not that I am rushing decisions, but I did want to bring that back for discussion just to see how council felt about that. So I am opening the floor for discussion.
Dwayne, you may be able to answer this question. You may not have this number. I know, so when we were looking at this about a year ago, before the MRF had all the troubles, we had a lot of dirty recycling going out there.
Yeah.
We were at about 50% collection on recyclable, but we were having to take a lot of that, pick it up and take it to the landfill.
Yeah, the contamination was so high. Most of them were, yeah.
Once we cut down, and I think there's 3 items that we can recycle now. Mr. Boyd, I sure appreciate you, because this next number, if we had more people like you, would be a lot different. I know when we talked about this 2 weeks ago or a month, I want to say a month ago, we were at 12% on recycling.
Yes, sir.
And bottom line, even the MRF needs 15% just from Longview. And we're providing about 12 truckloads to the MRF a week? Is that correct?
No, 3, I think. Todd, correct me if I'm wrong. 3 loads, 4 loads?
A week?
Yeah.
We get more than that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's quite 12, but,
Okay.
yeah.
And of course, I knew Tyler at the same time, I think they're charging on between $5 to $6 right now
Yeah,
currently for you to be
$5.95.
involved in the recycling. And I understand that they're gonna move that up close to $10, which we don't wanna do that. And it'd be hard to kind of set up even a pickup and schedule that with people wanting to get on and off, and you'd have to probably get on for a year. But I said all that to ask you this question. Have you seen the number go up from the 12% since the last time we discussed this at all?
You know, I've not really seen a big increase. Now, I think we were at 360 people, part of the Blue Crew, last time we talked. It's up to 389, so we've had another few join, but the numbers are still significantly low compared to the 27,000 customers that we have.
All right, and I mean, I think we were talking about going up 46 cents on our water, so we're not talking an extravagant amount of money, but to people that's on a fixed income, that's real tight on their budget, every dime does matter.
Yes, sir.
And when we're talking about 88% of the people that's choosing not to do it, it really kind of puts us in a bind. And we're looking at $250,000 that we're spending, and people's not taking advantage of it. Now, as we recycle more, our costs are gonna go up because people need to understand, we don't make a dime off recycling. It costs us money to do what's right. But we're just not seeing the commitment from the people in Longview. Mr. Boyd, again, I applaud you and the people like you who do that, because it's the ones that make the difference. But if people are not interested in it, I can't see us throwing $250,000 away, and then on top of that, charging people more for our water services. I just think it's a discussion that needs to be had, and I wish there was more people here to be proactive or reactive to, hey, this is where we want to go and what we want to see, because it's your money. We're just trying to be accountable by it and the way we handle it.
Yeah. Dwayne, would there be, I guess I have two questions. One, if we did not continue recycling now, how hard would it be to bring it back in the future if something changed? And then two, would there be cost benefits or time benefits to employees or others if we did not have recycling? Because I know at some time I'd heard about routes or trucks being less utilized, so could save money on the wear and tear.
Yeah, we will be significantly more efficient without recycling. We'll be able to route our routes for garbage collection. Now, the routes will need to be smaller, because remember, the amount of waste out there doesn't change if you recycle it or not. So we've still got to collect it. And so we've got to make sure, we're not going to travel the roads twice. And so there's efficiencies in that, but we'll still have to make sure we get that waste picked up. So we'll just have to make smaller routes picking up that trash. And then the other question was,
If we did not continue recycling now, how hard would it be to bring back?
okay. So it boils down to if we have a MRF local or not.
Yeah.
And so if the MRF is still there, then certainly we'll be able to work out something. We'll leave the blue carts in place. The intent was, I think, to leave those for people to use for extra trash if they need it at their homes. And so it would be simply, just starting that back up. We would have to probably have some expenses to that, so there'd be probably some type of rate increase to cover those expenses. And then we'd be in that same kind of boat. We've got to build a program that is efficient and is not heavily contaminated. Yeah.
And the one thing that I want to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm speculating from the things I've heard. We're the largest supplier to the MRF right now in this area.
Well, I think at one time we certainly were. I'm not sure if that's still the case. Republic is continuing to increase numbers, so we compete with Republic as far as the numbers.
But in regards, I like to see all businesses succeed. I don't want to see anybody fail, and I don't want to be part of anybody failing.
Yeah.
But if all of a sudden our 12%, 15% goes away, what does that do to this company?
I think Todd's here.
Yeah,
Do
he
you
is
want to make any
available.
comments?
What's that?
Do you want to make any comments?
Oh, we don't want to see it go away either.
Yeah, if you are going to talk, will you come on up here? I'm so sorry.
Tell us who he is.
Yeah. Todd Lucas is the owner of the MRF that we partner with,
One of them.
one of them.
So, the city of Longview probably makes up somewhere around, between 6 and 8% of our inbound revenue. So it's a portion of our business, but I don't want anybody to think that if Longview trucks stop coming, that we're gonna up and go away. That's certainly not the case. But I think what is important to know is that Longview used to be the largest single city of curbside recycling in this market. And did a very, very good job when Dwayne and the team rolled that out initially. And so I've seen it work here. And so just so people understand, we handle all the volume for Marshall, Kilgore, Henderson, and some other cities that are serviced by Republic. And they offer once a week trash, once a week recycle. We also saw some increase in contamination when we opened after the previous facility had their fire. And they went through and did the things, the communication and all of those things that were necessary to bring that contamination within a reasonable level. That's somewhere between 15 and 20%.
Yeah.
And Longview's done an even better job cleaning up the contamination. Just we're not, I know we're just not getting all of that. And I think I just moved to Longview, so I see
Welcome.
things
Thank you.
happen. Yeah, thank you. I see the carts in my neighborhood and on the street. And so I see trash and recycle where I live. Trash is Monday, recycle's Tuesday. You know, there's a couple of us on our street that put trash out on Monday and recycle out on Tuesday. But I also see a lot of people that put trash and recycle out on Monday, and their recycle carts are full of recycling, but they all go to the landfill.
I got
So-
a question for you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
If I was an individual person in Longview that wanted to recycle, could I bring things to you directly? Is that an option, or do you?
If it's sorted, the beauty of single stream recycling is you can put plastic, paper, aluminum, tin, cardboard, all in a common container, and a truck picks it up and it comes to our facility where it's sorted. That's what makes it convenient and easy. So I had curbside recycling when my children were small, and our 95-gallon poly cart would be full, a family of 4, with paper, cardboard, aluminum, tin, plastics, and our trash cart would be about 1/5 full of just heavy organic, unrecyclable products. So
Yeah, but you would be able to
if it's done
receive-
properly.
Yeah, from an individual, I could save all my boxes and bring them to you if,
happens every day.
Okay.
If it's sorted, people can bring it, and we have places out front for people
Okay.
to deposit items. But we don't want to see Longview scrap their program. I know a big investment was made. There's been a lot of effort. The work that has been done to clean up the material that we get is good.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of rolling that out into the rest of the city where those things are not happening. And I've had a conversation with Mr. Allen. We talked about maybe why some of that volume wasn't coming. And anytime you have a catastrophic event like the one that happened a couple of years ago, we all try to do what's right for our people and make life easier when we don't know what's going to happen. I think the way to correct the volume is to pick up trash on trash day, recycle on recycle day, and understand that there is going to be some contamination. We're going to stub our toe along the way, but we want to help y'all do that. We understand that there are going to be loads that are questionable. You know, we're not a bad group of people, you know, we want to help. So I think that's the solution: trash on trash day, recycle on recycle day, and no other option.
No. And it's a partnership. So, and like you said, you've seen us at a high point and you're seeing us at a low point right
Yeah.
now. And I know Dwayne and everybody within the city has done a great job trying to communicate, put this out on Facebook, different avenues and water bills, provide the information. Have you seen anything done in another municipality that they've done to make it to where, hey, it grabs people's attention to do it? Or does it just become the responsibility of people to take part?
I think that if there is a way to get that information to everybody, that this is how it is: trash on trash day, recycle on recycle day. Here are the items that can go in your recycle cart. I think that's the start. I think that's how you really have to start it. And I heard y'all talking about Tyler. Keep in mind, Tyler hauls to the landfill twice a week for all their residents. And if you want recycling, it's subscription service. We would like, that's old, that's 1980s and 90s thinking. You know, we would like to see them go to once a week landfill, once a week recycle. And that's what y'all are doing here in Longview is what they do in Dallas and Fort Worth and Houston and Phoenix and Denver and Atlanta and all the other major areas. And it's the right way to handle it.
Cindy?
Todd, yes, I appreciate the time we've discussed this. Now, you mentioned trash on trash day and recycle on recycle day, and I've talked to Mr. Archer about this. What we do here is on your trash day, we let you put out your trash and your recycling container. And then when that truck comes by, it picks up both containers and puts them in the trash. And I asked Mr. Archer, if we reduced it to only one container, if we only pick up the trash container and we leave the recycling container there, people are gonna be, they're not gonna be satisfied. They're gonna say, why did you only pick up one? You didn't pick up the other one. Because I'll just be upfront, to a majority of the people here in Longview, Texas, they consider trash and recycling the same thing. And they put them out that trash day. And another point, we're all lazy. We don't want to roll one out one day, bring it back and roll another one out the next day and bring it back. We just want to roll them both out one day and forget about it till the next week. And how you get us to put that energy in it to roll one out one day, only that one, and then roll one out the next day, only that one, I don't know.
I'm 79 and I do it every week. Roll it on Monday and roll it on Tuesday.
Thank you, Ms.
I'll
Johnson.
watch my 85. Yeah,
Yes, I agree, it's just,
I
the
think
majority of the people don't do it.
I understand what you're saying, but I also think that sometimes, you know, when we find out about this, it's not, you know, some people don't maybe see social media as much as we do,
Yeah.
or hear about it in ways, you know, sometimes you find out because your recycling bin didn't get emptied, and that's how you find out. And I think it is confusing to have both of them out on one day. I understand why it happened.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying that, I mean, I understand that. But I think the way to correct it and get the volume up is to pick up trash on trash day and recycle on recycle day.
I agree with you 100%.
It doesn't matter
Yeah.
if you haul 2 95-gallon carts out in one day or one every other day, you're still hauling 2 carts to the curb and back.
Yes.
Respectfully, I do think that we would have the same level of contamination that we did when we brought the program back. It'd be no different. So the same people are still, same amount of people are putting trash in their recycling that would get picked up the next day. As I know that I agree, there are people that are putting out recycling and think that it's getting picked up and going to recycling on trash day, but I think that's a small group, because when we came back, our contamination rates were such that you were gonna raise our rates, which is why we switched to the second day to avoid that. So I think if we didn't pick it up till the next day, we'd have the exact same problem that we started with when we brought the program back. And not to correct you in any way, but we have spent an enormous amount of communications time, putting stickers on bins, communicating with people, promoting the Blue Crew, giving them $200 if they do it. I personally feel like we have done as much communication as we can to bring the program back to this
Yeah.
point. If we did not continue the program, I would personally feel satisfied that we had done enough to communicate to residents to try to bring it back, that there wasn't anything else for us to do. Just, that's me personally. I don't know how the rest of council
Sure.
feels.
Yes.
Go ahead, John.
So, a lot of, I mean, I agree with a lot of it's going on, so I appreciate you being here, Todd. So, real quick, I just don't want to put you on the spot too much, but why,
But you're here.
why, you're in it, you're in recycling. Why is it important to you? Like, what is the, what do you?
Well, I mean, we employ about 20 people that live here in Longview and Kilgore, Gregg County. That's important. We got trucks that come in from Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi every day, fill up for fuel, you know. Kilgore, Longview, stay in hotel rooms, eat at restaurants. The items that people are putting in their trash bin that are recyclables go to the landfill, you know. And I'm not saying the landfill's bad, I'm just saying that the items that can be recycled create opportunities for other people to have jobs. And so, you haul it to the landfill, it decomposes and probably gets reclaimed into gas or something like that. When it comes to our place, it creates opportunities that trickle down all over the place.
Do you find that businesses and citizens expect recycling to extent to be
I
available?
can tell you that I think it most definitely makes a decision on businesses that are looking to locate here in East Texas. I know that.
But these businesses.
Would be with Republic and not the city, yeah.
we don't
Possibly.
pick them up.
Yes,
No,
okay.
We only pick up.
The city, that's right, on the side of
city
it, yeah.
container.
That's true.
Businesses all are
But-
contract with the public.
There is downstream effects. Are we the largest customer?
Apparently not.
Well, I'm talking about, are we the largest, the city was 6 to 8%, I'm sorry, of that. But if we pulled out, there could be some downstream effects where the MRF, could.
I think he's
could not
saying he'd be fine.
Yeah, if you're gonna be fine, that's fine, but if we don't know what, we could have a recession tomorrow. We never know what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
we don't know
So,
what tomorrow
I mean, losing any client, any customer, any business, losing a client that makes up 6 to 8% of their customer base is going to be impacted. That's the reality
But
of
we
it.
have a responsibility to the people that are paying
Correct.
we have that responsibility. And, for the people that, yes, and along that line, we don't own the landfill. The city of Longview does not own the landfill. It's owned by a company. I'm not sure if it's Waste Gonna.
Republic Services.
Republic Services owns the landfill. So I'm not, and there's still plenty of room out there. I mean, Mr. Archer, we're not running out
I
of,
think they've got 70 years left. and there's plenty
70
of land
years
around
left of the landfill. So we're not, but I'm not promoting the landfill. I'm just saying, if you're saying we haven't got any room left, that's not correct. We got plenty of room. Would there be a possibility that Republic would take on the contracting of the recycling only?
I bet you, well, we've been down this path once before. I mean, I'm sure that they would love to look at it,
It's just for a rate, so.
Yeah,
we-
'cause we're-
We have to
we're-
pass that rate on to someone.
Yeah, we're running ever trash route in Longview twice. I mean, we're making twice the pickups. I was on city council years and years back when J. Dean was mayor, and we started this, and we knew then it was gonna cost us. I think the attitude back then, it was a new thing, more people were interested, they were, so to speak, gun-ho, they wanted to really get into it. I think that generation that was interested in it 20 years ago is still interested, but there's not as many of us as there was 20 years ago.
And we were getting paid at that time.
That's the,
Yeah, we were getting paid for what we delivered, yes. Now, what do you charge us for what we deliver to you?
It's $90,
Yeah, it's $90 a ton.
And what does Republic charge us at the landfill?
35.
35, all right there. So there's, how much is that, 60?
well, it ends up being almost $250,000, huh?
$250,000 that we're paying to go to the landfill, but I'm not trying to say it's only about dollars and cents, but it is about dollars and cents, because nobody wants to see their taxes go up, nobody wants to see their bills go up, and, but dollars are dollars, and it just depends on where you're gonna put them. And that's something, that's a pretty good sum of money,
And Sydney, just to respond, I agree with you on all that. So the kind of the way that I'm like looking at it differently is if we get more recycling as the way it stands right now, if more people participate, it costs us more money, right? And so therefore, the way that it's looked at as far as like the community is that it's a quality of life item, right? So quality of life item, the more people utilize it, the more expensive it is. So if we had any quality life item in the city of Longview that had a 12% household participation in it, we would consider that a major success.
We would,
We would.
if we had a 12% participation in a quality.
Like a park or
it's
rec
12% of the households going to Ingram Park. It's 12% of any of these quality of life items that do cost the city money. 12% of the households using the
Yeah,
trails,
no,
using all that.
But
the
this
pools.
is an ongoing, day-to-day expense, every day. You got trucks, and when we bought these trucks, I know Mr. Archer, I said, well, you got mechanical problems, you got hydraulic problems, you got electrical problems, you got operator problems, you got fuel problems, every day. You know, and you don't have that walking down Borman Trail.
You have it with the pool, you have it with.
Well, you have it with the pool,
We have it with
yes.
the recreation centers, we have it with all of it.
But a very, very, a very, very small amount. Very,
Let's not get off on a tangent. Tell us
I
your
know.
quality of life.
So anyways, that was it. I mean, that's really the base of it is like, it is something like that. Is there options in other communities that are doing things like subscriptions or other ways that we can help offset the cost of the program? There's that. I do think there's opportunities for other things. We've talked about Republic, we talked about all these different things. And so the other part of it is that I think, Mr. Archer's you're doing a great job with the Blue Crew and the communication. I agree, it is exhausting to keep always doing that. I do think this is something that there's certain things you have to always communicate. Because I can tell you right now, when I first came here and I was doing recycling and anything that even resembled plastic, I threw it in there. Because I would much rather be overly cautious that it was recyclable versus it wasn't. I got told that's not the way to do it. And then it wasn't until we brought back recycling that I realized that I've been putting them in the bags, the trash bags, the entire time, doing it wrong the entire time. And so I'm on council, I'm still getting educated every day on the proper ways to do it. But that's just part of being a community. That's what, you created the Blue Crew for, is to help get that message out, make it a community-led effort. And I really just want to see if that's a way that we can get that to continue going. And if it's a dollars and cents argument, it's never going to make sense. It's not. And that's a great point. But in my sense, I look at it as it's a quality of life. People, for economic development and also community engagement, it's the way I look at it. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to say is just that, with the time that we've spent, if we're not gonna increase the usage, and then we say, well, we're saying to the citizens, we're gonna raise your bill, but this is not beneficial because we don't have enough usage in recycling. That's basically what we're saying. And I get the whole trying to compare it to the quality of life, but at the end of the day, when we have people that are struggling to pay their bills, and we're gonna raise their bills on a service that's not being utilized, it's not fair to the majority of the city, is all I'm saying. And that if you're that passionate about recycling, then I do say, hey, let's go into suggesting doing other areas and maybe subscribing to recycling and being a part of that versus charging a whole city that's not the majority of the city is not recycling. We have 12% usage, and how long have we been promoting and trying to get this going? We've been talking about this same thing for years, and we've been talking about the contamination and the money that we get costs charged back for it y'all not being able to recycle. So, that's what it boils down to. Either this city is going to recycle in a majority or we're not. Because I don't want to see my bill go up if the majority of us are not going to recycle. That's how I look at it. Set a time frame on it. Either we're going to get their increase or we're not.
Yeah. Again, I wasn't trying to push it, but I do feel like I need some direction from council. So we're adopting the budget next meeting.
That's what I'm saying. So it's either we're going to get an increase or we're not.
Oh, Derek has a question. I'm sorry, Derek, go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to ask Dwayne, and we talked about when we had the previous time that we did it. I know I believe we've exhausted a lot of opportunities, but what has been the difference in the participation that we had in the past versus this time?
Well, I think it just boils down to we had such a significant event where the MRF burned and everybody went to putting it in their trash in the blue bin, that the habit was just lost. And now you've got to recover 26,000 customers' habits, and it's going to take a while. It's not going to happen overnight for sure. And it's kind of one of those questions. And now we're having rate increases that are increasing the cost. But do we want to offset those rate increases? Those are questions that we have to ask, I guess, at this point. But it was just significant in getting those people. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would think I echo what others have said, with only a few customers that are taking advantage of this service, and I think it's a great service. It's hard for us to make a rate increase for all the other 27,000 customers. Thank you.
Thank you, Derek.
And I didn't mean to come off as negative, because I'm going to catch it from a family member who 100% recycling, and I promise you it's cream. You can eat out of her recycling container. Dwayne, you guys have done a great job, and like I said, the rest of the city, with putting information out there. Todd, I want to see every business succeed, because somewhere along the line, there is a trickle-down effect. We receive money, you come and do services with us, you live here in town. I won't see that happen. But when 88% of the people are not taking the reactions that Mr. Boyd takes the times to do, I didn't catch your name, ma'am,
Ms.
who
Johnson.
drags the recycling out every week. For you guys, I feel bad because we got 88% of the people just don't care for whatever reason. Lazy, don't have the time, just not interested in it. And
Or don't understand.
don't
about
understand.
the
Yeah.
recycling
But
and how they're contaminated.
we do need to come to a decision, I feel like, to make it right, because I don't want to keep throwing money away if 88% of our people are not taking advantage of the situation. And I don't want to be the one sitting here saying, Jody Berryhill's the one that said that, but Jody Berryhill said that tonight. I don't want to do that to the majority of people. Now, the difference, better step your butts up if you want to keep recycling. That's the way I kind of look at it. You can't blame it on the other person. You've got to get out and do it yourself. Sorry.
Yeah, that's great.
Being honest.
Yeah, I think, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the overall majority of council would like to not raise the rate and to discontinue the recycling program.
It's not an easy decision, but we've given Mr. Archer every opportunity we can think of to work with it, and the people just don't seem to want to get involved. You know, it's just,
Yeah. What I think I'll do, guys, if this sounds okay, is at our next meeting, I will actually set it for vote. And then because the adopted budget needs to reflect it. So I think we do need an answer. So if we're not gonna change the budget presentation, I think I will just set this for vote at the next meeting, and then either budget can be ready. Does that make sense? Yes. Is that okay with everybody?
I know it's a short time. Dwayne, can you still provide us with a percentage of what it looks like before we have our next meeting?
As far as dollars?
As far as percentage?
Usage.
Where we're at?
Usage.
I mean, I can update my numbers.
Yeah, I know it's not much.
Yeah.
I know it's not much time. but-
Mr. Siller, you wanting to say something?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
dying.
Yeah, you gotta come up here to the microphone,
okay,
though.
yes.
Get out of those uncomfortable chairs and come talk to us. Mr. Silla would like us to improve our chairs.
complained about these low seats already, so. Drusilla Johnson, 416 Church Street. Now, I drag that cart out every Tuesday. I drag my trash out on Monday. The block that I live on, most of the people were not aware of the change, for whatever reason, to put the recycle out on Tuesday. And I feel that we're not giving the population an opportunity to be properly educated on what goes in that cart. And I still have questions of what really, in the plastic, what really needs to go in there. And I don't have a guide of the piece of paper. I've heard you guys talk about those being distributed. I didn't get one.
You should have a sticker on your bin.
No,
No?
I never got a sticker on my bin, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. But anyway, I don't want to see us give up on that quite yet, and I see a couple of opportunities to educate the community. We've got National Night Out coming up, and neighbors gather for their festivities, eat hot dogs and talk and everything else. Why not use that as an opportunity to educate them on recycling also? You've got a group together. That's a perfect opportunity. I just don't want to see us give up on it, and I don't want to pay any more tax dollars. I'm on a fixed income like all the other old people around here. But, you know, I just don't want to see it go down the drain and another, well, I'm rambling now, but old people do that. But the other question I had, what was the difference between, when I first came to Longview, I think we had bins set around the city where you took your recyclables to it, and
Glass, we had glass recyclables.
glass was the
Yes,
only
ma'am.
one that we did that with.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm just trying to think of ways to give recycling CPR to get it revived again, to keep it going. And I would wish the council would at least look at some other options. But I think that we've fallen short in educating the public on how to do recycling properly. I don't know if it'll make a difference. Some people just aren't gonna do it, you know? They
Yes,
just aren't gonna do it.
Yeah,
But
I
there's-
will commit to you that even if we did not continue our curbside recycling, we would continue to look for a solution. I just heard mention
Okay.
of potentially contracting with Republic. I don't know that we've explored that yet. So even if we did that, we would continue to explore options.
Yeah.
Because I do also have very avid recyclers that contact me, and I would like to provide an option, even if it's driving straight to Todd and delivering stuff in Kilgore. We would look for an option that
Yeah,
could be available.
yeah, yeah, that's, sorry.
No, thank you.
No,
That's the
thank
benefit
you.
of being at a council meeting. You get to hop up and give your opinion. Yes, G.
If you don't mind, I'd like to.
You gotta come on up.
G. Floyd is my name. I did write down some ideas about this the last time we were at the meeting, and I just didn't come forward with them before. I say this, whenever you want people to participate from the general public, there's two ways. You can either incentivize or penalize. Well, we don't want to penalize them, but we can incentivize them. And I thought that one of the ways that you could do that is you can have some way of gauging participation. And I thought maybe having a driver on a route with a touch screen, when they have their route, they just touch that, I stopped at this address, and they participated. And you could have all that and just compile it. You know who participated. And then when people do participate and they do well, maybe the city can put a sign in their yard. This is a recycler here. They live at this house right here. Maybe that would help. Also, you can incentivize it by giving them a reduction of some costs on some other city services based on their participation in the recycling program. We all pay water bill, and they might do that. Or you might recognize them by the participation either at the council, on the website, or somewhere else, just to say, this is a recycler here. And I think that would really incentivize people and get them to talk to their neighbors and say, hey, you know, maybe you ought to see our block is a participation in the recycling. And everybody on the block, they might pick up 2 or 3 or 10 people. And that incentivizing would help us to be able to get the numbers up. Because it wouldn't be the city doing the communication, it'd be neighbor to neighbor. And maybe that would help. But those are the 4 or 5 ideas that I had written down earlier. And I think it might be a good way to incentivize participation.
Thank you, G. I know Dwayne had similar ideas, and we have given out $200 to our Bennett to Win It folks. We figured that would be a good word of mouth. You could win $200 cash by doing
I was
$250. Oh,
Yeah, it was
excuse me.
$250.
Yeah, it was enough to talk about.
Yes.
But yes, yeah. Come on, Miss Brenda. You're good. Well, so they're drawing for it, but if you have clean recycling, they draw out of the hat, right? Oh, if you're not a member of the Blue Crew, you got to be in there.
And you'll get a sticker sent to your home along with recycling.
Oh, sorry, go ahead, Brenda.
That, y'all had did different kinds of communication. One communication that we fail to realize is churches. If we could get that out, all churches, you know, whatever way that is, because that's where a lot of people, they're there, and give them the difference in what you can recycle. Like she said, some of us don't know what to put in the thing, and so some just get disgusted and don't do it, or put everything in there. But if you can get some communication, because everybody don't have computers, everybody don't have Facebook, everybody don't have a lot of things that we use every day, but it's a lot of people in the city that do not have those avenues. So if we could get maybe a sheet of paper telling them what days it's going to be picked and what is going to be in the recycle deal. And that's one way, because a lot of times preachers and teachers can get things over better than anybody.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Woolridge. Any other discussion or comments on this one, or I'm going to set it for a vote at our next meeting. Thank you, Dwayne. Appreciate you. Next is presentation item C, discussion of potential improvements of the Green Street Recreation Center. This is from Mr. Jody Berryhill, District 5.
Mayor, Council, Ms. Hagan-Bucher. Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight to discuss potential improvements for the Green Street Recreation Center. Just wanted to give you a brief history of the Green Street Recreation Center. It was built in 1949 as the Roundup Club. It was in 1971 donated to the city and became the office for the recreation department. And then in 1978, it was refocused as the senior center when Broughton Recreation Center came online. And then in 1982, the recreation offices moved out of that facility and moved to 321 Gum. And then in 1988 was the last major improvement, and that is when the South Side extension was added onto that building. This is our current numbers compared to the last several years. So we're currently at 166 members. And of course, this is like all the rest of our program. Prior to COVID, a lot of our programming was participated in much more heavily. And it's taken several years to try and recover a lot of members with a lot of our different projects and programming. This is a list of a lot of the main activities that we do. We have bingo weekly, we do line dance classes, arts and crafts, we have a potluck monthly as well. And I would like to take the opportunity, because Tamara Lang, which is our recreation coordinator for Green Street Recreation Center, I would like to take the opportunity to be able to brag on the work that she does. She reaches out to so many different organizations to be able to get donations to put on programming there at Green Street, and we greatly appreciate the work that she does. And with that, I will gladly answer any questions.
Okay, I have two speaker cards that I should have let come up, talk prior, so let me go ahead and ask them to come on up. Ms. Barbara McDaniel, come on down. I know, I need to circle them right, yeah. Here. Yes.
So first of all, I would like to thank the city for having our recreation center. And for some reason, years ago, they took the senior out of the recreation center. I would like to see it referred to, because I'm proud to be a senior.
Yes, ma'am.
And I remember when it was a Roundup Club. But I love going there. It's a nice, safe environment. It's just minutes from downtown. And I have never, ever had any kind of problem, or any other member have any other kind of problem being on the south side. I wish more people from the north side would come. And as far as the remodeling, we've got little rooms that aren't utilized because they're so small. And we've got, there's one little alcove that's got a sofa and a chair. The sofa's been there for, I bet, for the 1800s. I mean, who wants to go sit on that? You know, and places like that aren't used, that I would love. And the garden club, we were using a little small room in front, but we got too big, and we're having to, you know, go out the main thing. So I hope y'all remodel it so we can keep having fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, and the recycling. I would love for somebody to come to Green Street and tell us all about recycling and what we can put in, and maybe go to other clubs and inform them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McDaniel. Next is Beth Thomas.
I too am a member of Green Street, and I do love going there. Thank y'all for having it. But I would, because the people coming in there are the people that are not scared of the South Side. I love it, but I think we could have so much more for our seniors. Now, we have an 81,000 population in Longview, Texas. My mother belonged to a senior club in Euless, Texas. They had a pool, they had a gym, they had places for people to play cards. They had all this stuff, and one side of it was seniors, the other side was for families. Now, even on Thursday night, my husband and I were a part of that because we took care of my mother after she became ill. And so I really would love to see Longview do something like that, but possibly on the north side of town, because there are so many that are scared of coming to the south side of town. I'm grateful that my husband and I were open to that because we have made many friends, but I really think that we could see the membership more than quadruple over on the north side, and offering everything in one place as opposed to Paula Martin Dean or whatever the name of it is, and Broughton. Everything's scattered out in Longview. It would be lovely if we had one facility that offers it all. And that's my thought. I would love to start seeing some things happen on the north side of town, whether it's toward where I live in Diana or if it's toward Gilmer. I don't care. I don't care. I would just love to see more membership, and I'd love to see more people being a part of that. That's how I feel about it. But anyway, thank you for having us, and I know y'all are working on renovation. It would be lovely if we had an updated stove and oven, because I do like to utilize the kitchen, because I'm a fan of the kitchen, and I have lived in the kitchen since I was 15. So anyway, thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here.
Uh-huh.
Jody, do you want to?
First off, Tamara, in case anybody does not recognize you, would you stand and wave? Because I'm telling you, this lady right here does a fantastic job. I mean, you talk about go out into the public and, work on her own to bring people in, to sponsor and to help donate and do things for the senior center. She's the one that does it. So my hat's off to her. And I may have took her by surprise one day, but I come in there and I said, listen, I've been on this board of directors with Parks and Rec and Senior Citizen for a year. And I said, but I've been looking at this. I've been walking in, smelling the smell of the gas stove, looking at the 1950 green floors, maybe 60s. And I said, I want you to show me everything. I said, you turn on the lights and unlock the doors. And those are the people who knows what's going on. I said, I know what I think I see, but I want you to show me. And so that's where I brought this attention, and I called the mayor, I talked with Rollin, and we sat down with John and kind of went over some of this. And I'm telling you, you take care of your kids. You make sure they have something to do. When you get to be 25 to 60 years of age, you chase your grandkids around, you chase your kids around, you see them at the ball fields, you go watch them play soccer, you go to the movies, you go swim at the pool, you go walk the trails, you do things like that. But just because when we get old, Sydney and I are the only two up here that's that category. But when you get old, you don't get forgotten about. You have things that people can be involved in. Not only the events that they've got listed here, but there's some senior services, Alzheimer's Association and things like that come in and give help, let you know where to go for help. So it's very important that we have it, but we don't have to look like it was built in 1949, and it don't have to look like it was last renovated in 1988. You walk in, my wife always tells me, first impressions are what you remember. My first impression is still etched in my mind, because I care about our seniors. I firmly believe we need a change over there. I asked Sydney to go with me over there, and him and I don't necessarily always agree on everything. And he said, man, it looks nice from the outside. And I said, oh, it does. Put some paint on the door, trim up some of this other. But I said, that parking lot out there is a little loose gravel in there. I said, just to reseal it would be nice. You start at the curb, our transportation, if we're not getting dropped off in the parking lot, we need to see if we can't get with our city transit and drop people off. Because you don't need to be trying to come across the street, 4 lanes of traffic with a walker, and then across the parking lot that the gravel's loose. We need to be able to be dropped off at the steps where we can roll up and go inside and enjoy ourselves and be with people. Because sometimes that's the only people we've got to be with. Then when you walk inside, you want it to say, hey, this is a place I want to be. It should look like that. You feel comfortable in your own home. You've got it decorated the way you like it. Everybody there should feel comfortable. And we spoke with a group of ladies who was doing line dancing that day. And I said, what would you like to change? Oh, please keep the floor to where we can still dance. And then some would come up, but it don't have to be this green color. You can tell there's some spots in the floor where there's small crevices. And I always think of my good buddy. He walks with his left foot kind of sliding the ground. And I told Tamara, I said, my buddy would catch his feet in here and fall. She said, we've had that happen. That don't need to happen. It needs to be a safe place. And those places are there because there was probably some existing walls at one time that were taken up. The rooms that Miss Barbara mentioned, they are small. There's some walls in there that I don't think are load-bearing walls. I kind of pointed about Sydney, and I said, I'd love to have somebody come in there and look at them, take them out, open these rooms up where we can use them for dual activities. If you ever been to church, you got your back row Baptist and you got your front row Baptist. And you say, where are you going with this? Well, some people just always want to sit at the back. Well, the TV screen that shows bingo is at the front of the room. There's no TV screens at the back. The microphone and the speakers are out the front that poor Tamara has to roll out every time she wants to use it.
They're very bad.
It should be something that speaks to the whole room. If you're comfortable on the back row, sit on the back row. You know, we're going to make it to where it fits for you. So I know we're running ahead thanks to Angela and our little bitty money tree. Our revenue this year was fine. I'm not asking to take something out of our reserves after our savings. I don't want to bond. I'd love to have a new facility like you mentioned up in Euless. I would love to have that here. But that's not something that we can just pull out right now. We're trying to make our budget fit with no tax increase and take care of our employees at the same time. But this is a project here that I 100% believe in. And I was told by somebody, they said, you're probably going to catch grief from the north side. Well, I don't care. Senior citizens, if they're in the city of Longview, we're going to take care of them. North side, south side, east side, west side. This is what we've got right now, and it's what we've got to work with. And it don't take much to make it look better. We're making a big change for Josh and the guys with IT and with finance. We're doing things for Michael, them over at planning and zoning. Let's don't forget who our seniors are. They worked hard, they paid their dues, they paid their taxes for a long time. Make them feel comfortable.
Yeah. Go first.
No,
Go ahead, Shannon.
I was just gonna add, you know, the thing about it is I've been to Green Street plenty of times, and I went there today just to go and see, you know, what the concerns were. And to me, it's just upkeeping, and that's the problem. You know, the upkeeping of the building has not been done, and that's the major thing. I mean, and as far as it being in South Longview and people not feeling safe, I don't feel safe in Port of North Longview, but that don't make me not go. It's a choice. It's a choice that you have or whatever, and I believe that we can't keep abandoning and tearing down things in South Longview because, hey, this is wrong or I'm scared to come over here. We have to start investing in the things that we do have so that we can keep a good budget and so that we can be conservative, because doing something to that magnitude, this city can't afford that unless everybody wants their taxes to go up. And I know nobody wants to hear that, but at the bottom line is that we have those places. We have places to do all those things that y'all are talking about. They're just spread over Longview. And it is 81,000 people here, and we're all spread over Longview from north, south, east to west.
Yeah, is there any sort of dollar associated with what we've talked about so far, or any,
No,
or
ma'am.
we're just looking for direction and maybe we can
Yes,
come back
ma'am.
with that? I got
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
Okay, John, go ahead.
So I'm glad I didn't have to follow Jody. So, Tamara, I want to say I've heard nothing but raving reviews about your programming and the things that you're doing there. And that's the key thing. I mean, you can look at the chart of the users. I mean, it's a trend line going up. I mean, there's definitely a correlation that's there, and I think we know the cause. So appreciate the stuff that you're doing, and continue doing that, please, for us. And I do echo Jody's sentiments on it. You know, when you go in, it doesn't seem like, and you look at the outside and the safety of it, it doesn't seem like we value our seniors, which are a large percentage of our tax base. They also, more than probably any, need recreation and community above all else. And so I do think this is something that we can, that I'd be interested in us exploring to see if there's something that we can do to make this a more inviting place to go. And it's like was mentioned, it's safe, like Barbara was saying. Safe, go there, the programming will draw them there. And the other thing too is it's any type of membership like this, the more people that are there, the more fun it is and the more people will come, right? So one thing I would want to explore with this is if we can do similar to what we did with Broughton and make it free. And then we can make it free. A lot of them are on fixed incomes. We can make this something that is gonna drive the usage like Broughton did. Broughton usage went up. And then you get more people there, and then then you can start looking at increasing fees or doing different things to help increase the programming. You can make it easier on for Tamara, because if Tamara goes these places and say, listen, I'm gonna have 600 people here tonight, they're gonna be like, here, I'll sponsor. They're gonna be lining up the door for that opportunity. So I wanna look at options for that as well, in addition to the addressing the safety. And also, like, it hasn't been updated since 1988, right? It's remodeling that needs to be done as well there. So that's my thoughts on it and the direction.
Yeah, I like it. Go ahead, Sydney.
Okay. I'm not quite the orator Jody is. He's really good. No, we had a very nice, Jody called me, asked if I'd come out there and walk through with him. We had a very nice walkthrough. It's really much nicer facility. This was the first time I'd ever been inside, and it's really much nicer facility. It's got a good physical appearance on the outside, a little driveway work and this and that, but it's got a good physical appearance. Inside, it just needs some remodeling. They've got a good concrete floor. There's some walls there. Back in the old days, we had doors for everything, and nowadays we open things up. And there's some door facings where they've taken the doors off of them, trying to make it easier to go in and out. But what we were talking about was maybe drawing up a little layout, something of walls we might remove and such as that, to open it up a little bit. I think their office is over to the far right-hand side when you walk in, and that needs to be easier to access when you walk in the front door. And just a floor plan for some remodeling, I think, would really make it much more beneficial, and you would get more people coming out there, because it's a nice size building. Everything about it is okay. It just needs some remodel. One question: did you get rid of that stove?
We have disconnected the stove, and it is supposed to be removed tomorrow.
Okay. And one of the things we noticed when we were out there, try your best to keep that kitchen open. I mean, because we've got a nice kitchen there. It's got dual sinks in it. It's really nice. And that old stove there, I looked, and there's 6 burners there. One of the pilot lights was out, and we've had some problems previously with it leaking. And you don't want a gas stove in a confined area leaking. I mean, that's bad. So, it's a nice stove. It's a high dollar nice stove. I don't know who put it in, but I think there's a lot of people that would like to have that stove and completely redo it and put it in one of these houses that they're redoing. But get the stove out of there.
Yes, sir.
And keep the kitchen open. All right.
Thank you. I will say Jody had me at AV Technology. We go and speak at potlucks every now and then, and the speaker system is atrocious. So I will be glad to support updating that. So if I understand, you're wanting out of sales tax money, just so I can clarify that for folks.
Right.
So I know everybody wonders when we talk about spending money, where is that coming from? So the proposal would be to look at how much would be needed for renovations, but not increasing the budget next year, not coming out of general reserves. We are thankfully in a good place that based on our August report for sales tax for this current fiscal year, we're up $714,000. So when we look at having funds to use for something like that, or the next agenda item that Sydney is going to talk about, that's where we're talking about those funds coming from. It's like if you got a raise, you have a little extra money, you can put it in savings, you can choose to do something that's been needed to do for a long time, but we're not talking about changing the budget, increasing anything for next year, right?
Correct.
Yep. Okay. So instructions would be, John, will you come back? Is next meeting enough time to do that? Probably not. Okay. So give us 60 days.
John's better than that. I believe in John.
Okay, maybe not next
No.
meeting, but in a short
Yes.
order, if you could let us know. Would that need to be done before the end of the budget year, though, for that to be out of those funds?
Well, we would have to roll it. We can
We
talk
can
about
figure that out?
yes.
Okay, all right. Perfect.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Good? All is well?
And I want to thank you all for coming. I never said it to anything, but I am so appreciative of all the seniors that come tonight. And every time I've gone, I see all the women. You guys come because, hey, I've got an idea. I want to do something with the fellas. I've kind of mentioned it to John and Tamara. And I want to see the numbers go up. Like I said, I want to see it quadruple, because I know what it can be. And, we'll build with what we got and go from there. Thank you all.
Yep. Yes, thank you for being here. Yep, you got to. You got to come up to the microphone if you want to talk to us. I'm so sorry.
Got Facebook.
We used to have over 50 people come to play bingo. We're down to maybe 15 or 20 now. And if y'all can get bingo back with cash, would be wonderful.
I think that's illegal.
We
but
did have
yes.
a lot.
I am willing to explore that off the record for you, Miss Barbara.
But we used to have a license, and that expired, and then now they said we didn't have a license, and it's, but if y'all could get us back bingo, we would love it.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I'm
Yes.
not sure if the bingo hall's ever explored.
Yeah. Hey, we're ready. Miss Margie's throwing it down.
Other days. When you're talking about removing the stove, are we talking about replacing it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You can have a stove.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just want to be sure I have an oven.
Please don't forget when the cookies come out of the oven, if you'll give me and Sydney a call, we would
What about
appreciate
us,
it.
huh?
Well, you can bring the rest
Seniors.
of them, but
Senior.
Well, you
No,
might
I
even
didn't.
enjoy the beans and cornbread, okay?
yes, ma'am.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you all very much for being here. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I miss something?
Yes, Tamara, if you don't mind, is there any way you can start getting out more information about when these activities are going on, times, dates, and stuff like that, so we can kind of help put this information out, so we can get more people involved in what's going on?
Yep, sorry, you got to come on up. There is a calendar that gets posted. Is it on our parks?
Yeah, Barbara
Yeah.
posted.
Is it Green Street or Parks? Parks? Okay.
We have a Facebook page, Friends of Green Street Recreation
I
Center,
follow them.
that you can post anything about Green Street you want to. Anybody can post. And if it's not about Green Street, I'll delete it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you've been doing to promote stuff there, and then you can answer Brandon's question about the calendar.
Well, as far as programming, everything that I do, I kind of reach out to the community to try to use more of the outside to bring in, because I know budget is an issue. I used to do a job like this for a nonprofit, so I'm pretty good with reaching out to the community. I've been taking care of potluck for the last couple of months. Every week I have a different sponsor that talks about anything from hospice to cleaning to you guys that come in a little bit to talk about wills and trusts. But I try to use the community to make everybody aware of the things that they need to know. So in response, what they do is co-host bingo. So that kind of helps offset the budget because everybody brings 5. They call half a bingo. So it kind of helps relieve the staff because it's usually just me and one part-timer that works maybe 5 days. So it kind of helps us because then we can answer the phone, set up the tables, look up numbers for members that don't know, clean up, make sure it's coffee, tea. It's a lot of other things that have to be done. So as far as getting the word out, I usually have to set the calendar. I try to have everything set by the 15th. They get the calendar to us on the 30th. Parks and Recs post it on their page, and then they share it to the Friends of Green Street page. So now we have a new programmer, so now I'm trying to work on getting more flyers into play before the month, maybe 2 or 3 weeks, so the city and everybody involved already knows what's to come. So far,
Yeah,
that's
love
what
that.
we have.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, all right, so we got marching orders, we're good. Excellent. Thank you, Green Street Friends. Next, presentation item D, presentation and discussion of hotel occupancy taxes. Mr. Sean Hara, oh, that was not next. Director of Community Destinations. Oh, hello.
Hello, good evening. I'll talk more about Green Street Recreation Center. That's where my first office was as a city employee for 3 years. So I've had a lot of tamales. They used to make lots and lots of tamales there, and lots of bingo and lots of line dancing. So, but on the topic of hotel occupancy tax, we talked a little bit about this at the last meeting, but today we're just going to go a little bit more in depth, have some slides for you, have some background information. I'm going to open things up and talk about kind of the overview of how a hotel occupancy tax works, what the laws are related to that, and talk about the the Visit Longview and Convention Complex side of things. Then I'm going to turn things over to John and to Dietrich to talk about their areas in particular. So first of all, what is the hotel occupancy tax for the city of Longview? It is 9% is what we charge, and that is applied at the hotels for any hotel stay less than 30 days. So there's two parts of that. So the 7% is the general hotel occupancy tax, the eligible categories that fits within, and we'll talk more about that. And then 2% is for restricted for convention center facility construction, expansion, or operation. So how do we budget for this? It does happen as part of the budget process. We generally allocate those to the eligible categories, and those, then the revenue and the category expenditures are included in the city manager's budget proposal. So that's generally how this goes. Then I've got my clicker here. There we go. So the revenue side of things, I mentioned that there's a 7% and a 2%. They're proportional, so I'm only showing the 7% chart for now. The 2% is very, very similar. What this is showing is going back to 2021, and each month you'll see that there's a lot of variation per month. Similar to sales tax, you'll have a lot of variation based on when are people paying and how are things changing in the economy, what's going on as far as things like construction will impact when there's big projects coming in and you have crews coming in and staying for a period of time while they're working on a construction project. You'll see some fluctuations with that, but also, again, it will be based on different times of year are busier than others. The thing I want to point out on this slide is that for 25-26, we have been trending upward. Now, not every single month, but 10 of the 12 months are showing, 8 of the 10 were greater than the prior year. That's not necessarily always going to be the case. I don't know if you recall that last time I was mentioning that a lot of our change, we were seeing somewhat similar occupancy levels, but our average daily rate, the average on that, was going up a little bit. We can't say that that's always going to be the case, but we do think that was a piece of what was happening here. So we did see increases in this fiscal year. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the law and how it applies for all hotel occupancy tax in Texas. They call it the Texas two-step, so it is a two-test process, and every expenditure has to meet both tests. The first test is they all must promote tourism and hotel industry. Simple. Then it must also fit within one of these 9 categories. So convention centers, convention facilities, visitor information centers. Pretty self-explanatory. There's no limits on that. There's no restrictions on that other than it has to fit within those. Same for any activity that's related to registration for convention delegates. Then there's promotion of the city or its vicinity. So there is a restriction on this part. And it is a relatively new thing on how it affects us and how it affects the budget proposal this year. So this is obviously advertising for people to be able to come and add to our economy. That's what we want. We want those folks here. The law had said that it's one part of whatever your hotel occupancy tax is. So again, we have 7% that is our general usage. So ours is 1/7. It has to be promotion for advertising purposes. There used to be a carve-out for our population size, and so we did not have a minimum spend. Larger populations did have a minimum spend. We did not have that before. That carve-out, amongst several other changes, happened, and so we are now trying to adjust for that to be able to meet this 1/7 restriction. The opposite side of things, where that one has a minimum, the arts have a maximum, and this applies to all communities, and it is 15% is the maximum. You can also do historic restoration and preservation. You can do sports events, sports tourism. You can do enhancements of existing city-owned sports facilities. You can do transportation of tourists, and you can do wayfinding signage. I want to point out on the transportation piece, it's not general transportation, and they specifically say you can't do like just Longview Transit. We want to put money towards that. It is geared towards moving tourists from point A to point B, hotel guests, conventions, those kinds of things. So what has our revenue been? We looked at that earlier. This is on the expenditure side for the 7%. How have we spent those funds? I want to point out that on here, some of this was at times using fund balance that may have built up during that time period, just like we do in the general fund. So these are the categories for the last 3 years of those things. So you can see in the 7%, arts and culture there at the top has been basically flat around that 15% mark. Then for the CVB, Visit Longview, for tourism promotion as a whole, and it is all of Visit Longview operations. That's one where you're seeing that large increase going from 821,000 to 1.274. That change is that increase in promotion. Then you have the convention complex, and that has been in the 7%. Traditionally, that's where we funded it. The 2% dollars, that restriction category, has not been around forever for Longview. It was put in place, 2012, 2011, I think is when the law happened. We started getting funds in and available. So we had primarily been using that for capital improvement projects. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But what you'll see here is we had been funding the operations side of ModCom, of the convention complex, within the 7%, and then doing our capital projects for the most part within the 2%. In this year's budget proposal from the city manager, it is that we would not be doing the operational side within the 7%. We've got the operational side within the 2%. It is an allowable use of the 2%, but that is why that number has changed there. Then you'll see revenue collections, sports tourism, and sports tournaments, those numbers there. John could speak to that a little bit more on some of those things. I think you'll notice that there was a larger expenditure last year under sports tournaments, and I believe that was for a capital project that took place that he could speak to a little bit more.
Sean, I have a question.
Yes.
So on the 7 and the 2%, is that a city's policy, state policy, law? Which one is that? The 7 and the 2%?
As far as how you
divide it, like you get 7% here, 2% there. Is that a city policy or is that a state?
It is.
law?
It is state law.
Okay.
It is state law on what the eligible categories are. So the 2% that we have, like again, it went in place 2011, and that was that we here locally, through our state legislature, petitioned to have that 2% authority, and it was restricted for that purpose.
Okay, and then my next question, I don't know if you're gonna get to that in the next slide, but so when we did the increase from the 2025 to 2026 to the 1.2 million, and you said that it was in, tourism promotion or whatever, do y'all have that broken down now?
Let me get to that in just a second, but the short answer is we will, but once we really have a good idea of exactly what is the budget process going to be. So we will break that down, but I'll give you some more details on that in just a moment. I want to look down then at the far right corner there, bottom of the corner, is the other part of the 2% for this year. So now in the 2% this year, there are two items. There's a CIP, a capital improvement project, and that is for the exhibit center. We have a master plan that we've been working through, and one of the projects while we were working on that was we discovered that there was an issue with the exterior walls of the exhibit center. It is actually in alignment with the master plan, but it is not the project that we wanted to do because we're actually having to do more repair than improvement as part of that. So that is a significant expense there. And then the 1.377, that's on the operations side of the Longview Convention Complex. Again, I'll give a little more information on those in a second. Visit Longview, there's a lot of words here, but essentially, Visit Longview, our goal is to be able to promote, it is to be able to welcome visitors, potential travelers, and to generate economic benefit by those people coming into our community and spending dollars. We do a lot of different things. As part of that, we provide customer service to visitors. We do Discover Longview tours where we're trying to train the frontline workers, not just with the city, but all across the city, all of our hoteliers or anybody else that does customer service. We want you to be able to answer the question of, hey, where should I go? What should I do? I'm here in town. Be able to be the front door for people. And then there's a lot of hotel relationships, education, and coordination. And I want to take this time to be able to say thank you to the manager for this area, who is CJ Clayton. She is a former hotelier. She has amazing relationships with our hotels. She has a great background in customer service and has been doing a great job for us. A big part of this area is on the promotion and advertising side of things. And so our budget that we normally have for the promotion and advertising side of things, these are the kinds of things that we would be doing in any given year. So we would be doing digital advertising of all kinds, social, website, digital advertising, video, print, a lot of different print things, as well as in person, going to trade shows, doing meeting planning, presence at our local and regional events, both, making sure that when people have come in for an event, we are able to give information for that, but also other things like radio and billboards and market research. So the question of, have we identified how we would be doing the things? This is a large increase that we would be looking at. These are the kinds of things that we would be looking at doing, but in greater magnitude. And as we looked at that and as we budget for that, we want to take some time to really look at it and get some very good input from others that are involved in destination marketing to look at it and give us some good options while we do that. So that'll be the very first thing that we do once we're clear on where we are budget-wise, is really developing out exactly how and where do we spend these. But again, it'll be these types of things, but to larger degree. So it's amazing how quickly you can spend advertising dollars, because everything is expensive, especially if you're trying to market to throughout the state of Texas and throughout the region. On the advertising expenditures, these are some of the large categories. It doesn't do the breakdown to say, okay, we're buying this ad in this magazine, or we're doing this much on social advertising. It is just these larger categories. So in this year's coming budget, the proposal is $410,000 for advertising, which is a huge increase for us. Then there's a miscellaneous advertising. There are a lot of other things that are related to advertising that we have other expenditures for contracts for websites and personnel and all of those other kinds of things that fit. We also do advertising specifically for downtown as a destination. It says citizen education there. Really, that's promotional items. It's just that's the budget line item that it's called. And then there's some advertising there specifically for Uniquely Longview. The $480,000 listed at the bottom there, that is the 1/7 of the estimated revenue. So that's where that number comes from.
Okay, let's stay on this slide for
Yes,
a
ma'am.
second. So when, just for example, like the downtown advertising, 27,500. What would you say? I mean, because somebody came up with that number. What would you say you would spend 27,000? Because mostly I see is Facebook, things like that. I don't see any commercials that y'all have done in the past. Or is this what we're?
So it is actually those kinds of. It is social media advertising, and for downtown in particular, we've done video related things, and that would be some of the things we would want to do with this additional funding, is to be able to get more video, more features, more social. We've actually, for downtown in particular, beyond Longview, but done radio advertising, done billboards specifically for downtown, trying to encourage people. Like, what often happens, even though downtown is the heart of a community, people will go sometimes just to the one shopping district that they're aware of. So it's also reminding people and getting advertising to, hey, you're here, but come in this way. In the same way of wayfinding signage would work. So it's all of those other things, but specific to downtown.
And so the Visit Longview advertising miscellaneous, you don't necessarily know what that is. Y'all just kind of plug the $32,000.
It's actually a much larger number than that. That is in that miscellaneous piece. That 32,000, it's to get you to the 480. And my answer with that is, when you're calculating what that 1/7 minimum is, there's staff that are specifically doing the work of advertising and the social media. All of their expenses could be counted towards that. But there's things like, again, the website fees, any of the digital tools that we use, any of those kinds of things would go into that number.
Things that we've already used in the past, correct?
Correct, but they have, yes, things that we've already used, and that is something that is already in the budget. Those are things we've already been doing, but again, we're increasing this other section.
That's interesting. Why do you think that the state requires you spend that certain minimum?
The state and the I would say the hotels as a whole want to see the use of hotel occupancy tax to be used to promote travel and tourism. And so they've, as part of that, have prioritized advertising and prioritized
The
promotion.
hotel lobby.
Yes,
Okay,
I mean, and
interesting.
that
Okay,
is that is
that's
the
helpful.
way the law is written, is to promote the activity to drive people into the market. But again, we didn't have that minimum requirement
Right.
before.
So
And
that
the
is,
reason,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm going so in depth on this is because the hotel tax is really the biggest chunk of money that we as a council can kind of better Longview with to attract people to Longview. So when I want to see where these dollars are going, that's why I'm asking, hey, if you spend 30,000 here, what is it truly going to bring that? You
Right.
know, so I really want to look at where we're spending this money at, because this is where we really can affect what we bring people to Longview with, is this money.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love
I agree.
marketing.
You
Yeah.
definitely want to use the money wisely.
I assume you're open to our ideas, and I'm going to give you a couple, and they may not be
Sure.
applicable, but feel free. I mean, I think
Sure.
this is the time. I have always wanted to modify CitySend, where it gave out like event notification or shopping notifications, a better app that could communicate with people about things to do, and also a mural map that would be like where all of our murals are that people could access. And I've always really wanted a full-time like marketing of Longview person, which I realize we kind of have in the visitor center, but more even, just more. If we ourselves were marketing, I know I'm preaching to the choir, I'm sorry, Sean.
Nope, you're
But
good.
if we were talking about how great it was to be in Longview all the time, we have to give people the tools, even the residents that were born and raised here, the new ones, like they need to know all the wonderful things so that they can help market too.
Yeah, absolutely. Marketing to our own residents is a part of marketing to visitors, but you have to be very careful on what you're doing with that.
Yeah, the first test.
Very careful.
It's that first test. But you want to be able to make sure that our own people are supporting our own businesses and that they're aware of what's going on. And so I'm going to hop ahead to the things on what you were talking about on calendars and those kinds of things. And I will come back to that, but I want to show you some of these things first. So we have a downtown visitor center. It's something that we really wanted to make sure that residents also know that this is a place where you can go and represent Longview as you're going out and being a promoter of Longview when you're not here in Longview. So please come buy some things that represent your town and have that home pride. So we do visitor guides, a lot of print guides, and we distribute these all across the state as part of those dollars. We do maps of a variety of kinds. We do have, actually, Arts Longview does have a mural map. I don't know, I think it actually is in something Dietrich can talk about in a second. It is in, I think, their brochure that they just put
Excellent.
out.
So smart.
So we do have, actually on our downtown map, it has all of the downtown murals on it. So we also do these kinds of guides that are just the quarterly guides of some of the events that are coming up. We have an events calendar. This is one of the things that we would like to be able to upgrade and do more features, more ways that we're pushing out that information. So there's a lot of events going on, and we want to make sure people know about them, both locally and beyond that. We also do a fair amount of advertising as part of that. These are just some examples. And then social. So we've got the Visit Longview social that we manage, as well as the downtown social, and we have social just for the store, some of those items of things. So I was going to go ahead and to the convention complex unless you have further questions
I do.
on this part in particular.
Okay, so, when we talk about the, store, the downtown store.
Yes.
Are we paying for cause the rent is still 3,000, correct? 3,000 per month?
Correct. It is slightly more than that in total cost because we also have some operational utilities and those kinds of things, yes.
What funds are we paying that out of? Are we paying that out of the?
Correct. That is the category of Visitor Information Center, the Texas two-step, so that's in that category.
Okay.
Go ahead, Cindy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I visited your downtown facility earlier this week. Very nice, very nice.
Welcome. Thanks for
Yes,
coming.
Yes. First off, the 7% and the 2%, is that set by this council or is that set by the state? Going all the way back to the first, the 7%, 2%?
Are you talking about what the rules are or what the percentages
Well, we
are?
get right here, don't we get, when you pay out your hotel, you
Yes.
pay 7% and then you pay 2%.
Correct.
Is that 7 and 2 set by the state, or could it be 9 and 3, or is that,
It
is that
is,
up?
it is set by the state.
Okay, well, I noticed, in the hotels in Dallas, they add on, they'll have, different taxes for something else.
So there are limits on what you are able to do. So it used to be that it was limited to 7%. And Robert, if you have more on this, I'll look to you on that. But it used to be that it was limited to 7%. And then they also added these special categories. And
Yeah.
so several cities added these 2%, which brings us to a total of 9.
So we
And
added
that-
it, but it has state limitations or
It,
rules.
we requested that it was added, and the state legislature enacted it.
In other words, you're saying if I'm going to a hotel in Dallas, I will only pay 9% of all the taxes on there?
You also, no, you also,
Special districts set up.
Okay, yeah,
there
that's
as
what I
well
was saying,
that
yeah,
have
they
budgets
get
for taxes.
other districts set up.
and you
Okay.
also have the state hotel occupancy tax as part of that as well. So it all is all additive. So if you're here, you're not paying only 9%. There's 9% that's coming local. Then there's a portion that goes to the state. And there are some communities that have
There's
put in place.
9% coming local.
There's 9% coming to Longview, to
Well,
our
how
budget.
much is the person that's renting the room, what percent are they actually paying then?
I think it's a total now of, let's see. I think the state's portion is 6%, so it ends up being 15%.
15, okay, and
Right.
we get 7 and 2.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
Correct. And just to the other point of if you go to Dallas, you might pay more. There are also special districts, which Marianne was talking about, that they are also doing these additive fees and things
So we
on
get
top
the
of that
7 and
as well.
2, but I don't want somebody staying at a hotel here in Longview and coming up the next morning and say, why am I paying 15 if you tell me you're getting 9?
Gotcha.
Right,
So
the state
we
gets their
receive
piece.
7 and 2,
Right.
and the state gets their piece. All right. How are we doing, you got a very good bar graph. How are we doing on 10 months total compared to previous, like 10 months before? I don't know whether, the bar graphs are good, but when you add up the dollars, I don't see any, you've got itemized months here, but where are we so far through 10 months?
Okay, so I don't have the total for you there, but I believe there may have been some information shared with you that had
Are we up
some
to the 27? Are
breakdown.
we up to the 278? Is that, maybe I'm not looking at the bar
So yeah,
graph.
the
Okay.
278 was for the month of July.
But yeah, you're
Oh,
right,
that's,
there's not a
that's right,
total.
that's
I
just
don't know.
one month.
That was
Oh,
just 1 month, 278
Okay,
for the month
okay.
of July.
So we don't,
To put it in perspective, we're estimating, I believe, to be increasing the total revenue estimate by about $500,000 for the coming year. So
Prior to last year?
For FY 26-27, the estimated revenue would be 3.36 million. And for this current fiscal year, we had estimated, I believe, 2.8.
Okay, that's good, okay. One other little thing here, and
And that's specifically in the 7%.
Yeah, I take the Texas Highway magazine. I see more advertising from other towns in East Texas than I do Longview. I mean, Tyler's has got some very nice ads in there. Nacogdoches has some ads. Lufkin has some ads, and I see very few from Longview.
And we have done advertising more within Texas Highways in the past. It's just expensive. And so again, from all of those categories, where did we spend the dollars? We
Yes,
reduced,
well-
we did more this year with Texas Monthly, for instance.
Okay, well, I don't think there's too much
But,
that
but
stuff, yeah.
if we receive these
Yeah.
additional funds, then again, we would be looking at and saying, okay, what are all of the travel magazines? And Texas Highways is one of those.
It's
that
a very,
we
it's
have
an
done
excellent
previously.
magazine. They have some good articles and a lot of, okay. We've got this money. You put the amounts up there that we're spending in all these different categories. Who decides, right there, you got arts, civic, interfund, revenue, sports tournaments. Who decides how much money is spent in each category?
So just like the regular budget, the departments have meetings with the city manager's budget team, and then we go through the estimated revenues and the requests and the various things, and we present
But some of them
projects
have
and
maximums and minimums, like
Right.
promotion and the arts and culture, both are kind of set for us.
Okay, all right. But the others, y'all, it's just a regular process that you go through to decide.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, and again, like the Visit Longview budget as the example, our budget is pretty status quo from last year.
Yeah.
Save and except for the advertising.
Now, I'm kind of confused. This 1/7, that 1/7 of, go back to that, what is that 1/7 you keep talking about?
So the state legislature, what the code says is that one part for whatever percentage of your hotel occupancy tax you collect must be for advertising, for the promotions category. And so we were basing it on the 7%, because the 2% is convention center only. So we were saying of the 7%, 1/7 has to be for that category.
1/7 of the 7%,
So
okay.
that's why
1/7
the
of the
CVV
7%.
transfer, that's why it goes from
Add up to.
821 to 1.2. Sean didn't say, hey, I'd love to spend 400 here, but we have to, and now we
Okay,
want to give,
okay.
Sean would like to hear our ideas on how we think would be a good way to spend it. Right, Sean?
All right. Well,
Sure.
those were the questions I had.
Yes, John.
Yes, yes.
First, I
Oh,
do.
wait a minute, wait.
Okay.
I've carried this around, excuse me. Longview, Visit Longview Summer 2026 event schedule, and it's a very nice
It is.
flyer, leaflet, whatever you want to call it. There's only one problem. There's nothing on here about the Arboretum, and that's one of our public parks. And they have all kinds of activities out there.
During the summer, they don't have as many events. So if you get the fall one, you're gonna see all of their fall
Well, this
concerts
is
and all of those
broken
other
down
things.
by month, by day by day.
Right,
But just the summer. CJ's got one back there for you that's got Arboretum on it.
right.
She's ready.
Okay, it starts in, okay, you're saying it starts in May, okay,
Right,
May.
and that
June,
one is
July.
just, it's the larger events that we try to put on there. And then live music, people ask about live music a lot, so we have
Okay,
that
all right, I
on there.
just.
So Arboretum
it's a-
concerts
it's a
are
good-
100% on
It's a good
that.
flyer, whatever the technical name is for it. I'd like to see these things out, and it's nice, Longview Summer Event Schedule.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we distribute those at hotels and at events and anywhere we can find somebody with hands.
I got two.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to say, first off, I want to just brag real quick. The Visit Longview store, like, if you haven't been there, the selection's amazing, and it's always changing. So you walk in, it's like you're going to a new store every time you're going. So it's definitely something. And I try to walk into somewhere with like fresh eyes, because it's hard to look at it when we live here. But I try to see how it would appeal to a tourist, and it's something we can't fully do. But I go to other places and visit their downtowns, and I always go to their visit centers and try to see what they're doing and checking out. And that's a way I can kind of see how things are going. And I can tell you our Visit Longview store on the merchandise selection beats them all that I've been to. So great job on that. The other thing too is the hotelier's knowledge, so credit to CJ. We were traveling this summer, and I went somewhere that we stopped just on the interstate, wanted to stop there, wanted to go get something to eat. And so I asked the hotel person there, where do you recommend to eat? What do you recommend to do? And there was crickets. They was, I don't know. Okay. So we go somewhere, end up going, And their downtown was literally 2 miles from there, and it was an amazing downtown. And I sent Sean videos. He's got plenty of them. I'm like, how are you not telling everybody about this? I went back to the hotel, like, y'all need to tell everybody about this downtown. And so kudos to that. CJ has them on all the boards, on all this, all the stuff. I mean, they're connected. So I appreciate all that y'all are doing there. Now, question on spending money. All right. Is there any way we can use this to spend money to get bathrooms at Heritage Plaza?
I don't believe that is an eligible
All right,
expense.
I was gonna
If
shoot
I
it
go
out.
back, if I go back to here,
Robert, cover your ears.
yeah, I would love to get some bathrooms at Heritage Plaza.
Yes.
But I think it's gonna have to come from donations, sponsorships, or general fund.
Yeah, or something else. All right. I believe that was all I had. Thank you, Sean.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead, Shannon.
So
Yes,
I
Shannon.
see you have it divided up in the 7% and the 2%. Is that how, on these that you gave us? Okay, so the 1.3 million on here on the budget line detail, add a repair, is that?
That's exhibit building, right?
Yes, that's the exhibit building. So would you like me to talk more about that now, or did you have more
Yes,
questions?
go,
Okay.
no, that's what I'm asking about.
Okay, so first let me say all the things that John said about the store, all credit goes to CJ. She does an amazing job at that. For the convention complex, much credit to Gabe Bennett, who's been doing an amazing job there. The convention complex, it includes Mod Cobb, the exhibit center, the rodeo arena, the agricultural pavilions, and then the general festival area, the fairgrounds, and the blind garden, and those kinds of things. So how is it funded? It's funded by hot funds, which we talked about just a moment ago, the rental revenue generated by the customers there, and then there's a small portion that is for July 4th. So our July 4th celebration is within this budget. Fireworks are one of those things that the state has says you may not use hotel occupancy tax for, because everybody has fireworks. It's not bringing people to town. That's not unique enough. Okay, so we raise money for July 4th. Okay, but that is within this budget. Also, what I mentioned before, those 2% dollars are specifically for convention center facilities. When that 2% was put in place, there were a lot of, I'll say, deferred maintenance that had happened over many years. The exhibit center building is very old. The Mod Cobb building was built in the early 80s, opened in 1984. There had been some projects done there, but not very many. There was the Idleman room that was added on, and a little bit of renovation happened as part of the 2007 bond election. But for the most part, we hadn't spent very much capital dollars there to speak of. And so some parts of that area, you can see that there is deferred maintenance. So when we had these 2% dollars, this was before my time in the department, but I'd say kudos to Laura Hill and to Dixie Golden and to Rollin, who I believe was in Public Works at the time, that all championed we need to get a master plan to say, what do we need to do there? And so we've been primarily funding these improvements using those 2% funds. I do want to say we stay very full. That is very highly utilized. We have a 12-month rolling calendar for how we book events, and so as soon as you've had your event, you can rebook for the next year, but you can't book way out unless it is a tourism-generating, a visitor-generating event. Then we can book you further out. Conventions being a part of that, large events being a part of that. Okay, so again, we have a lot of people come out there. We're very, very busy. We have more than 500 event days in a given year. This 100,000 number, I think, is an undercount. We were being generous or conservative. There's over 110,000 square feet of rentable space within the facility. This is that master plan that I was speaking about. We've made a lot of progress over the years using those 2% dollars. Our next priorities are the exhibit center. And so in this year's current budget, we had money in there to be able to work with engineers to be able to look at what that exhibit center project was going to look like. In that master plan, it identifies these are some things you need to do, but we wanted to get more specific on what what was in the master plan exactly what we wanted to do. When we were doing that process, as the engineers were out there, we were making them aware of a maintenance issue of the bricks, the actual structure of the building. We were having some moisture, water damage kinds of issue in a few different spots. And what has happened, these are very, very old. The way they make those cinder blocks is very different than they do now, and they were painted over the years, and moisture probably got trapped inside them. And so some of those are deteriorating, and we're going to need to do something to be able to save that building. And so what is proposed in the budget, that $1.3 million, is actually it'll build a facade around the main area of the building, which will be an aesthetic improvement, but more importantly, it'll be a structural saving to be able to deal with that moisture problem. So it is a large expenditure, and it would be coming from the fund balance within that 2% fund. There's a specific fund just for the 2%. And then the combination of using the operations and doing this project will be using the available funds that are there.
So on this 2%, I just want to make sure that I'm clear on it. So the 2% is set by,
It is.
Can
it
we
is
go
set-
higher? Could you go higher?
No, ma'am.
no, like what I'm asking is the 2% set that we're going to say 2% on Mob Cop? And before anybody get any upset, I'm all in favor of anything because that is one of our biggest attractions is Mob Cop. But what I'm asking is the 2% set to specifically go to Mob Cop? Is that a statute? Do we pick where the 2% goes? That's what I'm asking you, Robert.
It is state law, chapter 351 of the tax code specifies that we will use that 2% on convention center
That's what I need to know.
facilities. It doesn't mention Mod Cobb by name.
But it is our convention
But it
center.
says
Yeah.
convention
Yes,
center.
that's what I want to know.
facilities,
We wouldn't have anything else that would qualify as a convention center, I wouldn't think.
No.
Okay, fair enough.
No.
Not correct.
Worth asking?
I don't
There-
think so, no.
I see
there
where
have
you're
been
going.
That's, I'm
discussions-
just making
Yeah.
sure,
Right.
yes.
There have been
that's what I want to know.
discussions
Thank
over
you.
the years when they were putting it in place was, do we need to add something? Do we need to build something? And it's just, that was the initial discussion. We looked at a lot of different things. There was a discussion of a coliseum. I don't know if you recall that. That was the impetus for actually doing the 2%. There was discussion about doing a hotel conference center. That was one of the things that was looked at. But ultimately, what council decided to do is we don't want to do that. We need to do this master plan and start maintaining this property that we have. It doesn't mean you can't choose other eligible convention centers in the future, but that is
But
what
right
has
now, we
historically
want to
happened.
focus on this one and get it to where it needs to be.
Right.
And then we can say, hey, we're going to allocate and do 2% somewhere else
That makes
later.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But potentially, but you still have to then fund Mod Cobb. If you're going to use 2% dollars, then it needs, the operations part would
I'm just
have
saying
to get back
hypothetically.
into the 7%.
I'm just saying hypothetically.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So-
Good discussion.
So anyway, that is how that is funded. So the most recent project that we did, as you recall, was the pavilion, which opened in May, and has been a really great resource, and that's what we use those 2% dollars for. And with that, I'm going to turn it over, I believe.
One more question. It
John
might
is
not
next,
be for
unless
you.
you have questions. Go ahead.
It might be for Angela. So I'm looking on here, and so we're able to pay overtime. We're able to pay into the, looks like their retirement, all, if they work at any of these facilities.
Yeah, that's more of a law question.
Right, it's-
Which one?
2% can go for operation of Mon Cobb or construction of Mon Cobb. And operation includes the costs associated with running the building, including staff.
Right.
That's what I'm saying,
all the labor.
including
Yes.
paying into their,
Yes, ma'am.
benefits as
Yes,
well,
ma'am.
health plan and all
Yes,
that,
ma'am.
'cause that's on here too.
Because
Yes,
we have
ma'am.
been long supplementing operations at Mod Cobb with.
That's what I'm
with
asking,
hot
because that's what it's
funds,
looking
yeah.
like, that's why I'm asking.
Absolutely.
Yes, we absolutely
yes.
can.
And we have for a while, and I think part of us looking at updating the Mod Cobb fees and changing and increasing those is an effort to make Mod Cobb a little more sustainable on its own. And I think that's important to mention.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've been making those updates to the fees. So we did that 2 years ago. And then, well, I guess actually just 1 year ago. And then we did it 3 years prior to that. And so this year, I think right now, I looked at it this morning, we're right at $600,000 in revenue from rentals. So, but ultimately, we'd like to keep seeing that number grow and
Right, because if we
get
kept more
less
money,
subsidy.
we could do more capital improvements there, and, yeah,
Right, exactly.
yep.
I just had one question for you. So we've got a couple of hotels here with convention centers in them. And when you get up to about 350, 400 people, they're maxed out. We got a place that's bigger, and I did see in there that some of the things we can do is help with transportation.
Correct.
And I'm like, do we ever kind of partner with some of these hotels and they say, hey, we're trying to bring this convention in here, and we're like, hey, we've got something going on downtown. We'll provide free transportation to and from your hotel to this. And at the same time, if you've got the people who's involved with those conventions, say, when you run out of space, you don't have to leave and go to Tyler or to Dallas. We got a convention center if you want to stay here in Longview that will accommodate you. Do we ever partner with them and try and team up or go after some of these?
First of all, yes, that is an allowable way to use the funds. Secondly, yes, we have done it, but it has been rare. And I think a lot of it has to do with convenience for the guests, right? So we had a Firefighters association actually come and have their conference here. And they were spread out at multiple different locations, multiple hotels, and as well as how they did their meeting space. So unfortunately at Mod Cobb, we've got great space. We don't have an adjacent hotel. I would love to see that as a future project, is how do we get a hotel closer to.
You're
in
not
some
far
way.
from Lear Park, and there's a lot of events there.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So-
But we don't have that.
Right.
And so if we're having something at Mod Cobb, then yes, it is possible when you're having those conventions to be able to provide that transportation. More common, though, is most people drive on their own. We are largely, as I think most of you are aware, we are mostly a drive market to come to us. Most people aren't flying in and then carless while they're here. And so most people end up wanting to have their cars while they're doing that basic back and forth. So what is more common is when they're having a convention and then they have a special event and they want to be able to say, okay, we're all going to go from here to this evening event and then we're going to take you around for here. But even that is relatively rare. Again, we're only going to do that primarily for those larger conventions, those bigger groups, to justify that expense.
And I know we've got Mod Cobb booked pretty solid. It
Yes.
stays that way. So y'all do a great job on that. That's all I had. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, thanks, Sean, that was fun.
All right, thank you.
He's got more.
Oh, you're not done, I'm so sorry.
Who had a question?
No, I'm done with my questions with you.
Okay, all right. I'm going to turn it over to John. John has less slides than me.
As Director Hare mentioned, we do follow the Texas two-step as well. Two different ways that were listed in there is sports tourism and sports tournaments. So sports tournaments we use at both Lear and Spring Hill currently in order to be able to essentially operate the facility for any of the sporting events that we host there. Our sports tourism funds we use to help us promote events that would come to our community. So for instance, we were working with Laterno to try and bring in a large-scale volleyball tournament at their new air dome. That has since fell through, but that's one avenue that we would be able to assist with trying to bring that event and draw it to us. A lot of those come to us through the Sports ETA, which is Event Tourism Association membership that we're part of. So we work through that organization to reach out to different tournament directors, event holders throughout Texas and throughout the country to try and draw them to the community. The sports tournaments, those funds are limited to Spring Hill and Lear because state law requires that you had to have hosted 10 district, national, or state meets in the preceding year. And then as part of that, state law also says that over the next 5 years, you have to be able to prove up that you made that money back. So those are the stipulations. Right now, currently, we host upwards of 26 regional or state tournaments at Lear Park. We host 11 at Spring Hill, so Spring Hill is just over that threshold that allows us to use those funds there. And then we have another couple of facilities with McWhorter where LYSA has been operating recently that is on the up and come to try and start to host more district and regional as well as Hensley Park. We obviously look through all of our facilities to try and see if they meet those standards, and we would gladly be able to try and get any facility to the point that we could meet that standard so that we can use those funds there. So I will be glad to answer any questions though that you may have.
No, I just want more facilities to meet those standards, that's all.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, bottom line.
Yeah. How have we used, because I think this helped us pay for some lights.
It did.
Yes,
At
so
Lear?
that was the project that Director Hare mentioned earlier, was a lighting project at Lear. We used it to automate the lighting systems there at Lear, and we're actually currently in the process of automating all of our gates. That will help us to be able to cut down on some of our overtime use that comes from those accounts. That way we can start to dedicate more of those funds back into those improvements that we
And
can
our
improve on.
electricity.
Yes, and electricity.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think sports definitely brings people here that stay overnight, so this is a really, I mean, I see the dollar return on this one pretty easily. Did you have a question? Oh, I thought you were moving, I'm sorry.
No, I just
Any
want
other
some
questions for
turf.
John?
No, I just want some turf. John knows what I want.
Yeah,
There's
Lear
no
wants some
secret here.
turf too. I hear about artificial turf all the
I mean,
time.
it just brings more sports. That's all I'm saying year round.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Is that it for hot?
No, Dyke.
No, come on down, never mind. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Dee.
Going to exclude me, Madam Mayor?
No, you are always welcome.
Good evening, everyone. And I just wanted to share with you that for the most part, the cultural arts, my part is focused on promotion of the arts in terms of the nice categories that Sean just outlined. That's my area of focus. And within this bullet, what I would like to share with you is the support of the arts that's backed by the city of Longview. What you need to know is you helped to build the foundation over the years that helped us with our cultural district designation. Because over the years, you've dedicated that 15% to the arts. And with that, we had the opportunity to invest in our arts community with our various projects and programmings that we have throughout the city. So I just want you to know that your investment over the years has paid off with our cultural district designation. And because of that, not a lot of cities get designated on their first time around. The city of Longview, we did. Our cultural district application was approved on our first try. So that's because we had the infrastructure, and it was very obvious that the city was making the investment as well. That was showcased very well. So part of the use of our $508,000 is the distribution of arts group supports. As you know, the Theater Longview, the Symphony, the Fine Arts Museum, the Gray County Historical Museum, all of those projects are eligible, and there's a grant process that the city requires. The state tells us that we have those grant projects that we do support, that they have to fit nicely in what's eligible. But the process is done through the city of Longview through an application process, and you have to be a 501c3 and at least be able to show a year or so of tax filings that you're an organization and you have some fiscal accountability. And part of the criteria is you have to showcase artistic merit within that application, community outreach, administrative and fiscal responsibility, and you have to have matching funds, because the amount of grants we give is not going to fund your whole project. So you have to showcase that you're putting some skin in the game. And at this time, we are in the middle of our cultural arts grant application process. On July 12th and 15th, a public notice went out in the Longview News Journal announcing this grant availability. And the application deadline was last Friday, and the commissioners are in the process of reviewing and scoring those applications. And on September 30th, the commissioners will come together and start that review process to help determine what that allocation is going to be for each grant application submitted. When the grant application gets to, it doesn't get to the commissioner unless it's eligible to be considered for scoring. I get to do all the vetting in terms of making sure when it comes to the commission that it's an eligible application. And on October 8th, that's when we will make that recommended funding to the city council. And a little bit about our cultural district designation, like I shared with you, we're coming up on our 10-year application kind of reunion, and we'll start that recertification. I know it went really quickly. We're about to start that recertification process in 2028. And just like the initial application, the recertification process is going to include the community with all the feedback and from the city council. So that's our next step. And just kind of want to share with you a few milestones since our designation in 2019. We've had about 60,000 plus arts and culture events within the cultural district within that 10 years to date. And we have a database of artists, and this database has built over the years from Art Walk and various other arts groups that we support and partner with. So that's up to about 400 plus. And this 1.1 million, these are grants that have come back to the city of Longview from the Texas Commission on the Arts. And we've had about 30 plus new businesses, and this is where the cross promotion comes in with Sean Harrah's office. Our office and Arts Longview and Sean Harrah's office, we've worked on our downtown efforts, and it really has made a difference in terms of bringing businesses back to our cultural district and to downtown. And as you know, we have murals and public art projects all across the cultural district. One that's my favorite, of course, is on the campus of City Hall. It's Pegasus. And so we're really, really proud of that. But as you see, downtown, there are lots of visual improvements, and we're really proud of the work that we've done so far. So,
Questions?
Yes, I have one question. So for the next round, since this round has ended, can we do some type of class to try to train people on how to apply for those art grants or whatever? Can we set up some type of training for that?
oh, sure. Yes, we can, in terms of showing people how to
process.
apply
Yes,
and
sir,
if they're
the process.
eligible. Yes,
Mhm.
we
Yeah,
can
good idea.
absolutely be more deliberate in that outreach.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Yeah, Dee, do you know how many applications you got this time offhand?
8.
8?
Yes.
Yes, I think it's just not a lot of people
Mhm.
understanding the process on
Sure.
that part.
I think it's a great idea.
Sure, yes, we
Oh,
can
John,
do
go
that.
ahead, sorry.
I was just curious, how is the eligibility determined for the grant?
Well, the eligibility is determined over the years. I've looked at other cities, their applications in terms of what they ask, and for the most part, the eligibility categories that we do are pretty in sync in what they ask for, that you be a 501c3, and that is for the promotion of the arts, and that is, you know.
So one thing on I think it's the Texas one, where they require you to be in the Arts Cultural District.
Yeah.
Would that be something that would help promote that, or what's your opinion on that?
Oh, you don't have to be in the cultural district, because it may be like Councilwoman Moore just alluded to. You may exclude a lot of opportunities, so it's not so much that your programming is directly in the cultural district, but you're creating opportunities that bring people to Longview that may have an overnight stay in terms of your cultural attraction.
Okay, but I think Texas requires that one, that little caveat or two there, but I don't know if that's the case. But I was just curious why they would require it, but, you know. So.
Yeah, the cultural in terms of the monies that support the cultural district, yes, they have to work within those boundaries that we drew.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's what it's for, that purpose.
Yes.
All right, thank you, that helps.
Sure.
Yeah, good question. I think that is important about awareness. So it's, almost 500,000 that we're allowed by the state and we choose to give out to
Yes.
501c3s in our community that are promoting cultural events. So yeah, great opportunity for a nonprofit that wants to promote something. Yeah, I think that's fun information to share.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anything else?
No, not for me.
Anybody else? Questions for Dietrich? All is well. Now are we done with hot?
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, that was a great conversation. Yes. Moving on to presentation E, discussion regarding providing a one-time retention payment of $500 to employees making below $50,000 a year. Mr. Sidney Allen, District 6, this is you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. A while back, a couple of months back, the temperature's heating up, and I'm driving around Longview. Now, when they talk, I think I'm correct here, when they talk about 100 degrees, they're talking about 100 degrees in the shade. That's not 100 degrees standing out in the sun. So I'm watching or noticing our city employees that are outside. They're working on the streets, they're working on the potholes, they're digging up the water in the sewer lines where you've got a leak. They're working on the Longview beautification. Anyway, these people are out there, and it's considerably over 100 degrees where they're working. And I got to thinking, how can we help them? And so what I'm proposing tonight, and this is not a budget item, this is coming out of the sales tax. We're very, very fortunate that the sales tax revenues are up this year. I would like, what I propose is to help retain those who are in the lower level pay grades that are making less annually $50,000 or less. A one-time check to give them a little catch-up money, because in these lower pay grades, you're struggling quite a bit. And I would like to propose that we do a one-time check, and this is not it's a separate check. It's not going to be a payroll check. However, the withholding and the retirement fund and all that will be taken out. So the 500 and then a little bit of income tax, depending, you would get approximately $400. That's what we're thinking here. And I would just ask, if we approve this and you receive this money, do not go blow it. Make sure your rent's paid up. Make sure your utility bills are paid. It'd be kind of embarrassing if you're a city of Longview and we cut off your water and you're a city employee. So you don't want to do that. So let's, I know the gasoline is going up, insurance is going up, and this is just a one-time payment for those in the lower pay scale that make annually less than $50,000, to give them a little something where they can catch up, and it'll be a little easier for them to make their meet, to make their financial status, make things work. That's what I'm proposing. Like I said, this is out of the additional money that we've been able to receive through the sales tax.
Yes,
ma'am.
sir. And tonight, this is on here for discussion. So I think Mr. Allen is asking for discussion.
Well,
Go ahead.
well, yeah, I looked at this when Mr. Allen presented it, and I'm like, hey, is there any other thing that we can look at and try and do this as well? And one of the things I'd looked at was we're giving everybody raises across the state, bringing them up to market
This
value.
has nothing to do with their payroll
And this has
increases.
nothing to do with that.
That's correct.
So I still took the number 50,000, and I said, what if we were add 1% to their existing salary? That actually puts them above market. And when I got to looking at it, and I asked Mary Ann if she would break it down for me, and the cost to the city right now, based on the vacancies we've got, you're looking at about $150,000 to do what Sydney's wanting to do. And by the time that we throw in paying the TRMS, the other payroll tax that's got to come out, it's going to bring us up to close to $184,000. If you did the 1%, you're still getting up there. You're about $133,000. The one thing you're not going to have is a catch-up. And I really got to thinking about that. I discussed this with my wife today. I ended up talking to a couple people who fall into this category. And, you know, when I look at it, I'm like, if you give 1%, and I don't want to confuse anybody, and Sydney asked me, said, don't confuse them. And so I'm going to try and make this as
Please
clear
don't
as I
confuse
can. But you're looking at about a $400 to $450 one-time payment based on what your deductions are with TRS by doing this,
By doing the 500.
by doing the 500.
One time,
One time. You get one check, 500.
yeah.
If you did the 1% over the course of a year, you're looking at about $300 to $400, which that 1% would stay with you.
$300
Hold
to
on a second.
$400
For the
over
year.
A year, for
A
the
year.
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 You'd have to divide
Yeah.
that up by 26 payments.
Let me do it so we don't
Okay.
get confused. So that's $300 to $400 over the course of a year. That 1% stays with you. So at the end of the second year, you're looking at $600 to $800. There's not many places you can go put $500 in a bank and turn around and get possibly $800 on it. But the thing about it is we're not catching people up. And as I got to talking and visiting today, and I'm like, you know what? $450, that's spare tires on the back of somebody's car. That's paying their automobile insurance, you know, 2-3 months. Catching them up on a bill. An unforeseen circumstance that's going on, they've had to call out an AC repairman. They're running with box fans right now. And when I look at it, you know, people that can afford it, you look at the long term and what that 1% means over 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Sure, you get more on your end. But I'm not sitting in that situation to where I need to catch up. I need help right now. I need to get past something. And so I come in here, and until I asked Mary Ann today, I said, I want this broken down so I can see these numbers and what it really means. Because I know over the long term, it is more. And I'm not trying to squeeze people together, you know, a nurse's aide and a nurse by their salary and bump them up and get them close. I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to take care of the people who are in a situation, and they do a great job for us. And so, like I said, I come in here thinking I had a great idea, but the more I got to visiting with people today who's wearing those shoes, who's walking that street, that's what they need right now. But I go back to what Sydney said. This ain't a time to say, hey, Mom, let's go take a chance at the boats. You know, let's go do this. Man, I've been wanting this for the house. Take advantage of it as a time. And it's your money. You're going to do what you want to with it. But take advantage of it and put yourself in a good situation. You put us in a good situation, and we're doing this and only recommending this because we believe in you and we appreciate what you do for us. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. I think you might have confused me, but did you end up supporting Sydney?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I got
And
slightly
he
confused.
told me,
in
he
that.
said, don't confuse anybody, but.
I followed most of it, I think,
So.
yes. But just to summarize, so Sydney's suggestion would cost $185.
Yes.
Yes. And.
Total,
Yes.
everything for the
Yes,
city.
sir.
Yeah.
And that you are also requesting that we consider that out of the sales tax, which we have
Yes.
714,000, which you've
Yes.
also heard another
Right.
proposal about Green Street using funds out of there. But yeah, same pot.
And this would be made to where we have, I forget, I didn't write, the vacancies are written down for me. Right now, we're sitting with current vacancies of 45.
In that category.
In that category.
Yeah, this,
But if, you know, if we have 10 more people hired before this comes on, that number's gonna go up just a little bit, and we know that. And if we was to wait till a Christmas time, hey, that number could totally change. And we don't wanna do that because, you know, the time is now to take care of our people.
What I'm proposing is, we'll have a cutoff date, what we do, we'll have a cutoff date, and anybody hired previous to that cutoff date, I mean, if you just worked 1 month, you're still gonna get the $500. And if you worked all year, and this comes out of the Bible, if you worked all year, you'll get the $500 less deductions. So we're not gonna prorate this. In my my plan I have, we're not gonna prorate it. If you start a week before the cutoff date and you're in the pay scale where you'd earn less than 50,000, you'll get the $500. So that's to keep it simple. All right.
Other discussion, comments?
Well, no, the only thing I like to say is, of course, I wholeheartedly agree with anything to, help our lower level employees, because as I look at the pay study that we did and, looking at the numbers, the actual numbers of what it looks like with that pay study in place or whatever, and adding the 1% you're saying onto what we're giving them along with.
No. And that's where I do not want to
I mean,
confuse.
that's
The
what we need to
1%
get.
is
That's what we
separate.
need to get, because right now, as it stands, when we look at the pay study, we average employees making from, and this is me looking at the pay study, if we go by the pay study that, they just completed, we have employees ranging making part-time, you said part-time was 15? One
Yes.
person making $15 an hour, all the way up to $154 an hour. So that's what I'm trying to get, what we're talking about right here, when we're talking about these monies.
This will just be in the
Max
city of
salary,
Longview,
$50,000
you've got-
and less.
You've got the pay grades. The pay grades that will, on that pay, that will end up with 50,000 or less on a 12-month period of time. And so this is, the 1%, no.
Yeah, Jody
told you
considered
you'd
it and
confuse them.
decided it was not the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And supported Sydney.
If we're using it to catch up, it is not the best way.
Yeah.
And I thought, hey, let them choose, which that gets too difficult and it'd be a headache for Angela.
This
So-
will only benefit the people who in a current pay grade on an annualized basis would make less, I'll say 50,000, anything makes 50.000.00. So I'll say this will only benefit the ones on an annual pay grade who will end up with less, $49,999.99 or less, will get a $500 bonus one time, irregardless of when they start to work, as long as they're at that cutoff date, as long as they're in this pay grade where their annual wages will be below 50,000.
So we have 350 authorized positions where they make less than 50,000. Of that, we have 46 vacancies, so that brings the number down to 304 at this moment. So that's the employees that he's talking about.
We're trying to retain those people that are in the lower pay scales. And that's where we've got most of our vacancies. And we're trying to just do a little something to retain those people. It's a lot more expensive to hire somebody new than it is to keep somebody.
true.
You know.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
So little different thoughts on this, and it's just my feelings. I know that we have the best staff, period. So for me, like a couple years ago when we did the budget, we did a one-time bonus for pay because the fact that we didn't give raises. So we just went through the process of doing a pay study that we went through, got new peer cities, selected that. Council, we went through, decided where we wanted to pay, which was in the middle of the peer city group. And this was to bring everybody into a competitive pay environment. So with like the pay increase, what's for the average pay increase over $50,000, how much is it?
Under 50,000?
Under $50,000, how much are they getting a pay increase? They're getting a 10?
Average 10%.
Okay.
Not everybody, but average, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the average that we're going to give, $50,000 or less, is going to get a 10% pay raise this year, which is significant. Is bringing them up to being competitive. And so we're already doing this. And so kind of to show the point on this, how many under 50,000, you said there was 304 employees.
Mm-hmm.
How many under 50,000 will we have after we do this pay raise?
We will have 249 employees and then another 45 vacancies. Total, we would go from 350 to 294 employees.
And then 204 to 249? 304 to 249?
294.
Yeah, well, so total workforce, you go
294.
from 350
Yeah.
to 294.
If you add in the.
So, I mean,
vacancies.
it's already doing a lot of the heavy lifting, in my opinion. Like, doing this, it's also, what's different this year from next year? What's different from last year? Things are hard. it's that way. Or if we're gonna do this, like, I'd rather it be something that's predictable, where the employees can have an idea of what they're going to expect every year, instead of it being on the whims of council and what sales tax does or doesn't do, or wherever we're at. Because so that way they can plan, they can know what to expect, and they can do better with stability as far as having an idea of where things are going to be for their planning. So it's hard to say that we're just doing a one time, but then we'll feel that we need to do this again next. The other points I have on it is, what about if those that make 51,000? I mean, are we just?
You have to have a cutoff.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. So the only way to have, but you have to have an arbitrary number.
Yes.
So it's an arbitrary number. You throw a dart at a board, and you decide, $50,000 or less, you get a little bonus. $51,000, tough luck. Maybe better luck next time. And then it's the taxpayers' money that's paying for this. And so what about the taxpayers that are struggling that are under the $50,000? So it gets really difficult to hold this threshold to where the pay plan is addressing a certain thing, but it's not addressing the whole issue. And our biggest thing from the pay study was our biggest gap, if we're looking at retention, and the intent of it was 5 to 15 years were the ones that had the biggest gap that we needed to address. And that was another reason for the pay plan and the pay study and what we addressed with it. So with those different things in mind, I mean, if council wants to approve it, that's fine. My feelings are, I just rather, if we want to do this as a one-time payment, I'd rather just look at it as we need to be consistent with the program and look at doing this every year. At the rate that we're going, we won't have very many below that $50,000 threshold, and so we can continue looking at that, and that way we know what we're doing. And that's just my thoughts. Everybody's fully deserving of everything on it.
I wish I was in the credit card business, because everybody spends consistently. They use that credit card. Why do you think credit cards? They give credit cards to everybody, because they're charging 24, 25%, because when you've got an expected amount coming in, you spend a little more. You put it on your credit card. This is a catch-up, one-time payment only. Now, John, I'm going to be a little crude. If you don't think they deserve it, just tell them.
I did say that.
I think that's unfair, and I would like to celebrate two things. One, that we have a sales tax problem of having $741,000 that we're going to fight up here about how to spend. That's awesome. And two, that the heart of every city council person up here is for the employees.
Yes.
We have already adopted a pay plan that will be put with our budget next year that will give significant raises to all of our employees. I just think that honoring and making sure to honor everybody else's heart about supporting employees is important. What great problems that we have. Council loves all of our employees, and we have some money to talk about. Yes, ma'am.
I mean, and just to put it into perspective as to why, probably certain council feels certain ways or whatever, it's because when you look at it with the pay plan study, the lower level employee that would get a 15, because they're so far away from market, that would get a 15% raise would only be $194 bi-weekly by this pay standard. But then when you go to the highest paid employee, theirs is a $7,000 bi-weekly increase. So that's the bigger problem to me.
Well, you have to keep in mind the job responsibilities of those people are very
And I do keep
different.
in mind,
Right.
I keep in mind the job responsibility and all the support staff that they have. When you have an assistant to an assistant to an assistant to an assistant, and then we're talking about lower level employees and trying to do something sustainable that we can do every year is the goal here.
No,
I'm not talking about your $500.
Yep. All right, remember, we're going to be respectful and not interrupt. It's Shan's
Exactly.
turn.
So I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is that if we want to look at it, then let's look at it wholeheartedly and look at the numbers and say, this time, because historically, y'all have not been giving raises to employees every year. So if we can bring them closer to market and include what he's saying just by giving them a higher percentage, whether it be 1%, 2% on top of this, then we will be at a better spot than me saying, hey, I'm going to give them $7,000 when they ain't going to even touch that. That means nothing to them. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I can't afford a health insurance and premium, and all you're giving me is enough, a 2% raise to give me the health insurance premium, then what service are we doing the employees? When we do have the right as a council to say, hey, this time, let's look out for the employees, get them closer to market. This is what's sustainable. This is what the pay plan study said, and this way, we can do it this way, and we'll pause right here for a second, because I got somebody that's gonna get $10,000, $12,000 extra bi-weekly when this person is only gonna get $194.
Well, we have done that. So in the proposed budget, we have brought everybody to market. I think we've done exactly what you're asking for. Sydney's asking for on top of that.
But you're missing what I just said earlier. What I'm saying is that even at the 15% bringing them to market, what Sydney is saying is, even looking at that, he feels like that they need something else.
He's actually not. He's saying it for this year, because he's told me
Yeah, but
before
right
he's
now.
not, right.
Right
He's
now.
saying it for this year.
But right now, this is the right now.
Sure, and I think that's why he's asking for it. He's not asking for it next year, and he told me he's not thinking about it in the future, because we are making that $3 million out of our general budget leap to pay our general civilian employees.
I mean, but it would be fiscal conservative, and it would be the right thing to do, is to say, hey, it's okay for us to take a break for somebody that is gonna get a $12,000 increase versus somebody that is gonna get a $194 increase for 1 year.
I guess
What
I'm
does
not
that
totally
hurt?
sure what you're.
Because you're able to give a higher percentage to the Lord, just because this is the market that y'all are talking about, this theoretical market that we're comparing other cities, that we're not like other cities. We're not exactly, there is no exact job. These job descriptions change. This person may get a raise because they got more responsibilities. What I'm looking at right now, what we have on paper right here, is that I'm looking at somebody getting a $12,000 raise and somebody getting a 54-cent raise, and y'all can look at the book and look at it and see the same thing that I see.
Yes, ma'am. So that's why the pay study is so important. It takes your feelings out of it. It takes my feelings out of it.
This is not
It
feelings,
takes-
it's facts.
I know, but you're looking at names, and you are giving
I'm
your
looking at
feedback
numbers.
on it.
I'm
So
looking at
when
numbers.
Council, many months ago, looked at and adopted Pure Cities, we updated from our dated ones. We do have to compare, because that's who we're competing against.
What's feasible?
Right. And so looking at what those market plans are with other places, I agree we're doing the best we can. But if we were doing it subjectively between the 7 of us up here, and we were choosing by name who we were paying,
This
that
is
would be
not about
very
name.
dangerous territory.
That-
Well, that is what
that's
you're
not-
looking at. You're looking at a
No, this is-
name
but I'm looking
and a
at
pay.
numbers.
Yes.
I'm looking at
Well,
numbers.
you asked for names, so you're looking at names and you're looking at pay.
Because they go with numbers.
Right. But you're judging our higher level
I'm not
employees
judging.
who
That is
manage
not
a
true.
$232 million budget,
judging.
975
No.
employees. I'm just saying they are well worth what we are paying them, and they're managing our city well. So we shouldn't be trying to take away what the market would pay them.
I'm not
when
trying to take away what the market is paying them. What I'm telling you, that they're so close to market that their even marginal percentage raise is way more than the person that's farthest from market.
It's because the job that they do is a professional job, and that's what they would get paid if they got recruited to another city, which is what we would lose if we had people being paid
And that's
vastly
why,
under
and
market.
that's why we have dissatisfied employees.
Yes, I agree. I think
I mean,
part
that-
of,
I mean, part
so
of-
what you brought up earlier was just making sure that we're maintaining things well. Part of that is having a pay study so we know how we compare to others, and doing cost of living adjustments. I agree with that, but that does mean all of staff. That doesn't mean cutting out the top 10% that are running everything else for
But
us.
y'all were just willing to consider saying if they make less than $50,000.
Well, that's
I
Sydney.
never, I didn't.
I mean,
That-
I'm just saying, y'all. I
that
mean, y'all
is
make up your
my-
mind. I'm just trying to come to
Not what I'm saying.
That's all I'm saying. Either we're gonna block somebody out or we're not. I mean, it's on discussion to, if you're making less than $50,000, to give them $500, then
That's what
what's
Sydney
the
requested
difference?
to put on the agenda, and just like I let other people put things on the agenda, that is why it is there.
Yeah, it's their right to put it on the agenda.
Yes.
So I will say, it's based on where you were, based on the study that we did, where you were to market. So those that are getting larger raises or percentage of raises was because they were underpaid more towards market than what their position was. Or if you did not get a raise, then it was to the fact that you were already at market. So as council, we did a great job of compensating police and fire in advance of everybody else due to the nature of that. And the competitiveness that was there, the needing to fulfill vacancies, the need for the things that we were there, it had a purpose. The police and fire, when we did the pay study, they were comparable. Like, they were pretty much right there. And so that means we did a good job as council getting them there and focusing on that. And we were serving some sort of need or some sort of end that we were trying to satisfy. If it's just the pay study, we just did it, we're doing the pay raises, the $50,000 and under are getting a 10% raise, which isn't, if you look at it as dollar amount, maybe a different dollar amount, but it puts them to where they are in a competitive area. And most people, if they were getting a 10% raise in a year, this is something we should be celebrating, we should be happy about it, and we should be talking about that and on that. The other part that I did forget to mention is we've already identified so many different things up here as council that other projects that we want to spend money on that we could use this for that would benefit the taxpayers, that would go and give that back. So just to kind of give a list, so we had Green Street Recreation Center. I do know, Stamper, you're interested in turf, interested in lights. There's the street light study. South Longview is severely underlit. Demolish or rehab vacant buildings. We have Heritage Plaza bathrooms. And then we also have roads. That has been a constant thing that we need to focus on. So there's already projects that we've already identified. And so I think it's a nice thing to do. I think it's something that we, to always value our employees in one way or another. But we've already identified projects that are going to, that could go to that, I think, that are much better use. Those are my feelings. Those are my thoughts.
Discussion, comments, questions?
I'll just say this, we chose the cities we did the market pay study with. And when we talked about it and we adopted that and we challenged Rollin with doing that, we knew everybody was listed in that. And we knew, Police and Fire, thank goodness we had got them up, like John mentioned. And their raise isn't gonna be as much as some of the others. I've been in situations where administration in school, we didn't take raises. We made sure the people, the boots on the ground, the teachers, custodians, cafeteria workers, they got it. And I feel like sometimes that's what you've got to do. Last year, we were proud as all get out to be able to offer the 5% raise that we did with no tax increase. This year, the way it works, we got some people that's going to get, 15%. We got some people that's going to be 2%, and we're excited about that because there's no tax increase on that. The other thing about these numbers, we got 45 current vacancies. We got 25 employees that's under that $50,000 threshold who are eligible to retire per TRMS guidelines. That's a lot of people to have to go looking for. And if you don't take care of your people, that puts you in another bind. So this is a danged if you do, danged if you don't situation that we're in. Just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a discussion item tonight. Obviously, everybody can express opinions on it. It is not for vote tonight. It's a discussion only. It would be a budget amendment in this current year if we were to do it. Is that correct? Is how it would work?
Happen at the next meeting.
Okay. So I guess I would like to hear a little bit. I don't want us to have a vote if we're all, I would like some sort of, I don't know, give me your thoughts or feedback. I know you're in favor.
You need a motion to.
Nope, you can't have a motion, it's discussion only.
Discussion.
But I don't know, well, and Derek's going. Nope, you can't, it'd be on the, I need to know if I should set it for vote next time, just kind of by understanding where people are at,
Yes.
willing to share.
What are we setting for a vote?
Sydney's
$500
proposal,
one time. This would just be to put it on for the next meeting to vote.
if you would
We
like
could
to
bring
vote
it
on
up
it,
for a vote next
yeah.
meeting.
Are
Yes.
you interested enough to have a vote on it, I guess is my question. Okay, yeah, okay, okay, I will put it on for vote next
Okay.
meeting.
Yes.
Yes. All right, moving on to consent agenda. What items would you guys like to talk about on there?
I was actually good.
You don't have anything you want to let, Paul?
I'm gonna let it go tonight.
I'm fine.
I'm not buying any bags.
All right, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Moving on to our only action item of the evening. Consider a resolution that awards a contract that authorizes the city manager to execute necessary documents for the City of Longview Community Satisfaction Survey. Ms. Laura Hill.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor Ishihara, members of council, and Mrs. Hagenbucher. This is to request approval of a resolution to award a contract to ETC Institute for our community survey in the amount of $48,965.34. This would provide a budgetary savings of $76,000. We had 11 RFPs received. Our committee of 9 persons reviewed them, and ETC was by far the favorite with 745 points. And we have the timeline. Once we get the contracts, if you approve, this is the timeline. It would basically take about 4 months. So we should have the results being reported to the council at, I'm hoping, the first meeting in January.
Yeah, and council had already approved 125,000
You
for it.
approved
and that's why you're saying savings.
125,000 as a budget amendment, and so we're only asking for about just under 50,000.
Well, that's awesome.
So-
Good
I
job,
think
yes, Cindy.
I think it's excellent that the company y'all approved is saving us, how much did we put in the budget?
125, and we did have estimates from other vendors
Yeah.
up
I
close
think
to that, so this one is,
This is the low bidder, but also the one y'all think is the best one to do the job. I think that's excellent.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
We ranked them first on ability to do the job and their references before we ever got to even see the costing,
And then
so.
they're the low bidder. I think you can't go wrong.
Not much to complain about, yeah. Yes,
I just have a question on the budget side. This is the, you want to do this survey regularly, right, going forward?
Well, since it's been nearly 12 years since we did the last one, I would hope we would do it like every 5 years,
Yeah.
maybe.
I know you've expressed that, and it helps you with the grants and all the benefits
Yes.
that you get from that. And so my question is, are we looking at a way to budget this going forward? So so you don't have to come to council every time to get a pull from the fund balance to be able to do the survey, or is that not feasible? How's that?
Oh, I ask every year.
Okay, I got.
Has to fit into the budget.
I got them mic'd up right now, so.
I do ask.
I will express then that would be my preference. If anything that we know that's going to be some sort of set ongoing expense that we're going to incur, to do the best that we can to budget for that, because it's not something that we're going to be unexpected that we're going to need to do for 5 years from now. So it is my preference in that. So.
I don't think that we'll need to budget for it for another 5 years, but I understand what you're
Okay.
saying.
I-
We would put it in upfront.
Wherever
instead
that
of-
time is the
yes.
budget, I'd rather not pull from the fund balance going
Yes.
forward when we need to do that.
Got you.
So, thank
Yeah.
you. That's what I wanted. So, trying to
As
help you out,
long
Laura.
as long as we still discuss it.
Yeah, if we want, bring it up on the agenda, of course. So, appreciate it.
good.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Laura? I'm excited to get that going. I think that'll be fun.
I need a motion.
Oh, yep, I need a motion.
Motion approved.
Sorry, and a second.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Item is approved. Next is items of community interest. Mr. Conley had to leave us, and so Ms. Moore, you are up next.
Just good luck to all the high school people going back to play football. So I'm glad football's back. I love high school football. I think freshman is in Lufkin today for Longview.
Don't know.
Freshman and JV, yep, they're in Lufkin. So
luck.
good luck this week for all the football fans.
I saw we were doing a live game, or not a live game, but
Oh
a
yeah,
watch
live,
party at Broughton.
at the rec. I did see that.
Pretty fun. Is that, you good?
Oh, that's.
Oh, is that on your thing?
That's
Sorry,
it.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, speaking of the watch party, that would be for the Ruston game, which will be September 11th at 6:30 p.m. at Broughton Recreation Center. It's free entrance to get in. They will have, there's no food or drink can be brought in, but they will have a concession set up to where you can purchase items at the watch party. It's some fun, first time doing this, so they will be watching from the Longview Game Day stream. Also, this Saturday, we have Community Outreach Mission in Longview. We'll have their back to school drive. What time is it starting? 12? 12 to 3? It'll be from 12 to 3, sponsored by Blue Cross Blue Shield. There'll be vendors there with food, desserts, drinks, items to purchase. Kids will have games, bounce houses, and things of that nature, though. So that'll be this Saturday from 12 to 3 at Community Outreach on MLK.
Awesome, thank you.
Awesome. I don't know which one is first. Also, okay, my town hall, I got the, this will be my 4th annual town hall. And so we're gonna have the district town hall meeting, 6 p.m. Thursday, October 15th. The location is changing, so we're gonna, showcase a very great business that we have in District 4, Jack's Natural Foods Cafe and Market. And so, we'll be there for that, at 3110 Neely Way. So make sure you go there. Prior before was at the Builders Association, so make sure you go to Jack's Natural Foods for this town hall. Looking forward to seeing y'all. Let us know, want to hear your input on all things that we're doing. Next one is the 4th Street Corridor Study. So I believe this set records for the most participation already. Brian left, right? So the MPO is doing an amazing job with this. They're doing the study. And we need to fix 4th Street. I think that's the consensus that we have. And so we just need your input on how to do that. We want this to be community-led, not city-driven. And so get out there. They're going to have multiple different events. You can go to longviewtexas.gov/MPO to see all the different ways that you can contribute to share your opinion on how to address 4th Street. Golf tournament, the Drive to Aspire, benefiting the Partners in Prevention's Aspire mentoring program, is coming up. It's a morning game at Tempest. You can pay by the player or pay by the team. Tempest is an amazing course if you haven't been there. And then the Aspire mentoring program is just a phenomenal program. So definitely go out there and support them. And also sign up to be a mentor if you can. And then Arts View 24-hour musical is going to be going on. We have it at the it's going to be not at the Children's Theater, but this one's at the Dodson Auditorium at Kilgore College. It's $25, Saturday, September 5th at 7 p.m. Our very own Richard Yakeley will be there. So just go to at least to cheer him or throw tomatoes, whichever one it is. They'll be glad to have you. So go check out that. They put on a great show. Been to many Arts View stuff, and definitely check it out. That's all I have, Mayor.
Perfect, thank you. Ms. Berryhill.
All right. I've got a couple announcements. First, okay. These are great things. I know y'all heard me speak tonight and you're ready for everybody to go home and me to shut up. But I got some great news, and at the end of these first 3, I think we'll hear some amens. So at the LEDCO board meeting today, want to let you know we kind of made a little history for this year. I'm going to let the mayor talk about that. But today, LEDCO approved signing with Rob Roy Industries to go out to the Longview Business Park. It's going to be committing 65 new full-time jobs and over $18 million in capital investment over the next 5 years. Rob Roy, a lot of you may know, is at Gilmer. They have a facility that's in Avenger. They are moving here, and it's 110,000 square foot, the building is, and they anticipate to grow even once they get here. So that's big news for us there. Now for the west side of Longview, something that you don't hear about very often. WPC Services, which has been in existence over on Highway 80 between Longview and White Oak in Longview city limits. They are fixing to increase, helping to retain 43 jobs that they have and create 7 new full-time positions with a place just outside the city limits, but will still have an impact right off of, I'm sorry, I don't have an address for it, but it's right off of Harrison Road. And Rick Williams was the founder of Rick Signs, who started WPC back in 1974 when this all got started. So we want to welcome them for expanding and continuing to keep their money. And that's going to help Pine Tree ISD School District, which Lord knows I know they appreciate that. One of the biggest one, I'm saving for last, Quantum Services out of Houston. They have selected Longview for their critical infrastructure manufacturing facility. It'll be 106 new full-time jobs and over a $75 million capital investment over the next 3 years. If anybody's aware where Trinity Industry is off Jordan Valley Road, that was fixing to become vacated, and it's going to go from looking like it's going to be vacated to fixing to be a new $75 million facility. So We want to thank Wayne Mansfield and his group over at LEEDCO for doing the work to get these 3 businesses in. That's 5 for this year if you're counting. That's a new record. They celebrated that today with a balloon and a piece of pound cake over there. I couldn't be happier. Before we get to the next one, I want to tell you, Pine Tree and Gilmer is playing tonight, varsity football. So if you really got something that you want to go do afterwards, or that you're not wanting to go do, stop by the stadium over there and you can go watch some live Thursday night football. To the next one, we want to talk about Spring Hill. Nope, there we go. Spring Hill ISD, recognized as an A campus on every one of their campuses. I want to congratulate Penny Fleet, all her administrative staff and her teachers for a job. If you know anything about the school system, receiving an A is a huge deal. Very few of them around, and they don't hand them out easily. Congratulations, Spring Hill ISD. Our tree giveaway, it continues. I put my glasses on. In Longview Arboretum from 9 to 11 on September 12th. If you've got any questions about how to plant your tree and what you do, our arborist is a great lady, very knowledgeable, and she will help you out. That is first come, first serve.
Now, where will the trees be at?
Right there. Arboretum.
Longview Arboretum.
Yes.
Want to make sure.
First
Longview
come,
Arboretum.
first serve. Don't go to Mont
Longview
Cobb.
Arboretum.
Don't go to Mont
Okay,
Cobb.
on Cotton Street.
On Cotton Street.
All right.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, all right.
All right. And the last thing that I've got, it's just for me. I want to wish this lady a happy birthday. I've got to celebrate 43 of them with her. I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but she's younger than Sydney. Happy birthday. I'll be home soon.
Now you're getting personal. All right.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Moore, I want to ask you, are the Lobos going to make a state run this year for the championship?
Who? Oh, yes, always.
The Lobos.
Yes, always.
Every year.
Confidence.
All right.
Always.
I understand now that we can watch high school football on TV, but I'm not sure how we do that.
Go to Broughton Rec Center.
Oh, well, go to Broughton, but Longview game day. No. Longview game day.
But not, I mean, Broughton, isn't it?
No,
somebody-
yes, I'm sorry. Yes, you can. Yes, I'm sorry.
It's Longview game day.
On
YouTube.
On YouTube,
Uh-huh,
okay, on
and
YouTube,
just
you
put
can watch
Longview
high
Lobos.
school
Mhm.
football, Longview Lobos, okay.
Or Spring Hill, or whichever
That's,
one of these
you
other
watch wherever
schools
you
out
want
here.
to, all right. That's it, thank you.
Yes, sir. We'll get one of your kids to show you how to pull up YouTube.
Yes.
It's a plea for help.
Yes.
Okay, I have a couple of things, and like Jody alluded to, we want to celebrate and thank LEEDCO. They are our partner in bringing business here that pays property taxes and brings jobs, good paying jobs. They spend their money here. That's sales tax that increases our hot money. It is a win for everybody involved, and we are very grateful. But LEEDCO's total project count this year is up to 5, which is a record-breaking year for us. Each project takes months and months and months of meeting and recruiting and planning, and we are very proud of that, as well as the city staff who gets involved with development, what they need to help sell the city of Longview, marketing. But the 5 projects from this fiscal year will be a total of $323 million in capital investment here in the city of Longview, the retention of 147 jobs, and the creation of 328 new jobs. So congratulations, that is very exciting, well
What
done.
are the 5 projects?
Sorry?
What are the 5 projects?
I don't remember what the other 2 are, to be honest. Anybody else know offhand?
Ninth Avenue
Ninth
Foods.
Avenue.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh.
The milk.
The record. That was
Holt.
And Holt? Yeah.
Cat, yes.
Holt Cat was the other one.
That is.
Good, that's awesome. That is well done.
Record year for them.
Yeah, that's amazing. A couple more things. Walk of Honor. Join us Saturday, August 29th, this Saturday at Longview Community Center as we celebrate the latest individuals that are being added to our Longview Walk of Honor. It's a beautiful event, very nice. You learn a lot about individuals that have invested their time and talent into Longview. Great thing to participate in. Downtown Live resumes every Friday in September and October at Heritage Plaza. Don't miss this great free concert series. Please come hang out with us there. National Night Out. Yep, there we go. National Night Out kickoff is Tuesday, September 1st. That happens at Mod Cobb Convention Center. National Night Out kickoff is a great place to come learn how to host and attend a community party. I'm sorry, I would normally give it more time, but it is 8:30. And Labor Day holiday offices, we will be closed. Monday, September 7th for Labor Day, but sanitation, as always, will be collected on schedule. Thank you, Mr. Archer. And that is all for us tonight. Thank you. Excellent discussion, guys, and we will see you in a couple weeks. Meeting is adjourned.